It looks like they'll probably favor the southern half of the state. But we can't let anybody off the hook here because we still could see some severe weather even north of I-80 for sure. Brandon?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have been talking about this severe weather threat for a couple of days now. There is a tornado watch out for most of our area, Highway 20 and areas to the south until 8 o'clock tonight. So Brad, I want to, if we can, zoom in on a couple of our towns here just to show where exactly this is going. We'll start with the Quincy area and really areas that are south of Quincy. If you are in Corning, if you are in Mercer or Prescott, you need to be in a safe place now. Even though this is a radar indicated tornado, there's enough to give us reason to believe that there could be a tornado here very soon. Lowest floor of your home or of your building, you want to put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. This is the first tornado warning. Again, Corning, Brooks, and then we're looking at areas like Mercer up towards Prescott, and even over into Stringtown. Lenox, I also want you to be watching this. Even though this will probably pass to your north, it is a little too close for comfort. So anybody in Adams County right now should seek shelter. We can go up to the Cass County storm as well, head up into Atlantic and talk about what's going on in central Cass County. So this is now moving out of the Griswold area. The storm itself is moving over Lewis and approaching the Atlantic area, which is just here to the north. This one has a little bit less definition when we see our radar reflectivity here. It's this area that would probably have the tornado if there were one there. So we're watching that to go through central county, Cass County rather, and stay hopefully just south of Atlantic, but again, a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, the thing about that one too, it is basically trying to get some energy, and all the energy is being sucked up by these other ones. So the further south these cells are, the closer they are to the warm air that they need for thunderstorm development. So the ones to the north are going to be struggling generally, and the ones to the south are more prolific. And you can see that on the radar here clearly. The one to the south is doing a lot more, looking a lot worse right now on the radar. But the environment is still good for rotation just about anywhere here in this area. And again, they're moving about 40 to 50 miles per hour. It looks like this cell is passing south of Atlantic right now. And the other cell, they said that the possible tornado was going to be passing south of Corning. So you can see you folks in the Holt area and probably just south of Highway 34 is where we're looking at. So that's going to be an area that you want to take shelter in this area of Adams County and down to the south of that as well.
I do want to remind everybody that this is not a good time to really rely on outdoor warning sirens. If there's a lot of thunder, if there's a lot of lightning, sometimes it can be really tough to hear exactly what's going on, and you may not hear that outdoor warning siren. This is a really wonderful opportunity to have that We Are Iowa app handy, to go to weareiowa.com for updates. Have a way in the palm of your hand to get watches, warnings, information when it is issued in your area. So I'm over here at the big wall. This is another cell. This is going to face the same thing that Brad was mentioning, how these storms are taking all of the energy, but that one has an interesting look heading into Audubon County, so we'll keep an eye on that. Still, the ones to the south, though, probably have the greatest potential to produce a tornado because of all the inflow that they have going into them. Storms don't like to fight each other for energy, and so when you get a lot of them very close together, typically what happens is one or two of them will strengthen and win, and then the other ones will kind of give in to this battle.
No doubt about that. And so the watch goes, actually with the tornado watch, will go down into portions of Missouri, and they are already looking at the possibility of severe weather down there as well. There's the watch, by the way, in that area. Let me pop that up. There we go. And that's going to be in effect through 8 o'clock, although they're going to be canceling it from west to east. As the cold front moves through, we are going to clear the area. It'll probably be past the metro by 8 o'clock, so I think, or even maybe 7 o'clock. So it's going to get pretty active here over the next couple of hours in the central Iowa and southern Iowa areas with the possibility of severe weather, including the greatest threat is probably tornadoes, although wind will be a threat as well because these are going to get organized as they get kind of together. together. They kind of form a cluster of storms, and that may create some stronger winds down the road. So initially you got hail, you got tornadoes, and as they congeal, they could form some higher winds later on. So all types of severe weather are possible with this, and it's going to be a pretty active night. We're starting the year early here in early March. That is pretty early for this type of weather, but certainly not out of the question. Last year, I think we had some in February, but let's talk more about...
And some in December.
Yeah, well, December, yeah. We never, there's never a season we don't have severe weather, it seems like, here in central Iowa and southern Iowa today. So yeah, the tornado watch is in effect. You can see all these cells moving off to the northeast. I expect more development too as we go through the evening. So cells will kind of die off and pop up, but this is going to be the main line. This is the main attraction, you could say, because we've had other showers and storms all day that were non-severe. This is what we were planning on as we have been talking about it for the last couple of days.
Yeah, and I do want to let everybody know, because I know sometimes people lose satellite, or they lose cable, or they lose ways, electricity or other ways to get information. We are live now on Facebook, on YouTube, on weareiowa.com with information. So if you are in these areas, or you know people who are in these areas, and you want them to have this weather information, direct them to those platforms, because we are there with this information. I do want to recap kind of what we are watching. If you are just now joining us, we've been talking about 3 to 8 p.m. as the window for severe weather, and that really helped to be pretty true. Right after 3 o'clock, things started to get interesting. Brad is zooming in on a tornado warning right now that is in effect for Adams County. Technically, it includes the northern section of Taylor County, but the entire storm is out of Taylor County. Yeah. This is an Adams County system. We're pulling up our shear track here. That's what I see a little bit of. Yeah, it does run a little bit behind because it takes a while for that algorithm to run, but you can definitely see that shear crossing the border here, heading toward the Prescott and Mercer area. And shear is basically that rotational energy that certainly could be producing a tornado in that area. And if we look at the base velocity, it's also in that same area here. It's actually popping up a little bit more now, is looking just really to the south and west of Corning. But again, the radar is always a minute or two behind, so we have to kind of think ahead. And what highway is this that runs right here through Adams County? You have 34 going east and west and 148 going north and south. Yeah, so anybody who lives along those two highways right here in central Adams County should be in shelter at this point, because we've got reason to believe, with this rotation showing up on velocity, that there could be a tornado. And this supercell thunderstorm is starting to get a fairly classic look, where we get this hook and we get that inflow, and it's starting to try to close itself off a little bit, but that's going to change. Definitely why, definitely why I zoomed in on that one, Brandon, because we'd had that classic hook formation, and it does have the rotation. And to me, it's the most dangerous looking cell. Plus, it also has the benefit of not being, there's no storms to cut off, not being cut off from some warmer air. So we're going to have to watch all of these cells, and they're going to continue to develop down into Missouri. They'll probably see some tornado warnings there as well. So what I was going to say about this cell that is just to the south of the state line, that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, Brad will show that one. That'll be coming. We've got to watch this in Ringgold County and even into Decatur County, because this will come up over the state line. It doesn't really have to compete for the energy right now or for that inflow. So if you live in communities like Mount Ayr, the Tingley area, even Blockton and Lamoni, we want you to watch for that. And I just saw something pop up, I believe maybe an extension of that warning. I can check over here to the side. It was a tornado warning. They canceled part of it for Audubon and Cass, and then it's kind of been reissued, it looks like. So until 4:15, there is a new tornado warning there for Adams, Adair, and Taylor. Okay, so that is parts of Union. Yeah, so Adams and Cass has been canceled. So that was the cell that was a little bit weak. That was fighting. It was fighting the energy. It was weakening up there. So you can see around the Cass County area, they have canceled that. National Weather Service issuing all the warnings, and we appreciate the hard work and really the knowledge that they have out there. We work in tandem with them, and we see the same things they do, and they saw what we saw, that cell was weakening, Brandon. Right. So to reiterate, Cass County no longer under a tornado warning. Still a very strong storm rolling through. You still could see hail, thunder, lightning, torrential rainfall. But now this is the main cell that we are going to need to watch as it moves into parts of Adair County and Union County. Both southern Adair County and northwest Union County are under this tornado warning now. And notice this does clip parts of Creston and it goes up to Greenfield. If you live in Greenfield or Creston, it's time to go to that safe place now because of this supercell thunderstorm that is moving in that direction, likely to cross the northwest corner there of Union County. Hopefully, based on this path that it will take, it'll stay just to the north and to the just to the north of Creston, but we can't be too sure because these storms can sometimes move a little bit. They can change path, but we're looking at Prescott in the path of this very quickly. Creston, you need to watch it, and also up into the Greenfield area, southern Adair County.
Yeah, they're all still moving about 40 miles per hour, so that's going to, again, get them into the metro here, probably closer to 5:30, and we will continue to watch these very, very closely. The good news is here, Brandon, we're not getting any reports of the tornadoes because there are chasers. We do know a lot of chasers were excited about today because that's what they do. They get excited about chasing tornadoes, and they were kind of zeroing in on this part of Iowa today. So I think there are at least a dozen or more chasers in that area.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, I was watching on Twitter just the amount of people that were headed down into southwest Iowa. And they all were kind of waiting on these storms to fire up. The benefit, sometimes people ask why storm chasers want to go out there, aside from the fact that they love doing it, is they can give us real-time reports that we can't otherwise get.
Yeah.
You know, we are not necessarily there. So I do want to stress, if you are in the northwest part of Union County, we're looking at Creston. If you are in central or south central Adair County, it's time to head to shelter. That's going to be the lowest floor of your home or of your building. You want to put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. And just given the path of this storm, and if it holds, which it doesn't have a lot to compete against right now. So this one, I have a feeling, may try to hold. If you are in Madison County, Winterset, we need to watch it. It doesn't mean that it will go into Madison County as a tornado warning, but this storm will have that history of producing a radar indicated tornado. That doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground, but at any given minute, one could drop.
And I'm going to go over to the video wall if Carly would want to show that. We're going to show the
to point this out.
Yeah, this is the velocity scope, and it's kind of like using an X-ray looking into the system. So basically, here's our radar up here, and then we look at this particular part right here, which is heading toward the Prescott area. And I would deem this the most dangerous part of the storm. So if you are in Prescott right now, seek shelter. This is anywhere in that area. It's crossing Highway 34, Brandon. And
hey, Brad?
Yes.
I believe we've got a confirmed
confirmation.
Tornado. Yeah.
Is it right here in this
area?
area?
On the ground near Corning.
Okay.
Yeah. So that may have been a delayed report, but
so it is,
close.
you folks in Prescott, take shelter immediately. This is a serious situation. Tornado confirmed in this area, moving off to the northeast toward the Prescott area. So yeah.
And to our team up in the production control room, appreciate everything you're doing for us. We can take Atlantic off of that tornado warning. That is no longer a threat for that area. They're no longer in effect.
Clear that off. So yeah, this is it's getting pretty scary in this area. Expecting quite a bit of severe weather the next several hours as I clear that off. Let's go back to the radar here. I'm going to put this into loop mode and see what we got.
Sure. So just to reiterate while you're doing that, Brad, we've got a tornado warning out right now for Adair, Adams, Taylor, and Union County. Probably going to be canceled here very soon for Taylor County, but Adair, Adams, and Union, and that goes until 4:15. And that is where we have had that report of a tornado on the ground near Corning.
Yep. Heading toward Prescott. So you folks in this area, seek shelter immediately. Get to your low place, away from windows, and just protect yourself from any windows, that's for sure. We're looking at still 45-mile-per-hour movement with that storm, Brandon.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen our radar go to the
pink color yet.
Yeah, the pink color yet, but I assume that it's a legitimate a report of that tornado being spotted.
I think so, and it may just be because the National Weather Service hasn't fully sent that through as an observed tornado report. But either way, we know we had someone report a tornado near Corning, and that was from likely a storm chaser, a storm spotter in that area. This is Prescott that we've been calling out for a while here now. It is bearing down on you. you. And I can't stress enough, Creston, areas to the northwest of Creston, the Orient and Macksburg area here, or at least the Orient area up to Greenfield. Those are communities that we are watching. It's still not quite to the Macksburg community just yet, but it's not too far off. This will be moving. It's really going to clip the northwest corner of Union. I would say if you live in south central Adair County, this is more of a threat for you, as that'll be approaching the southern part of that county. And we can't stress too enough that there are still storms to the north of this that are very strong in Cass County, up in Audubon County, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. And this is getting a bit messy with all of the different tornado warnings. Hopefully we can clean that up a little bit here very soon. The National Weather Service watching multiple storms at any given point, and we appreciate all the work they do. But this storm on the southern edge, out of all these individual little storms, that southern storm, the one we are paying closest attention to.
It looks like it went right over the Corning area, so if it were on the ground, we might want to look into that situation. But I'm looking at this again. I'm going to stop that loop and go in closer. But it just looking at the radar, went right over the Corning area. You can see kind of the donut there and that rotation. We can again put the velocity scope on this area here, and you can see that that area there, that strong rotation passing very close to Corning. Now moving off more toward the to the northeast, heading toward the Prescott area. So maybe it's weakened a little bit, but it's still a strong enough rotation there. The tornado warning continues, and we are expecting a lot of this the next couple of hours. Let me clear that off for you here. So we're going to zoom back out. These thunderstorms, again, moving 40 miles per hour at times, and we're watching especially the ones to the south. This one is probably the most energetic right now, and that's going to be, again, passing just to through the Prescott area, probably north of Creston up toward Orient and Macksburg eventually. So that is the most dangerous looking storm. And I think we have two tornado warnings overlapping there, Brandon. I think one was earlier, and then the trajectory changed a little bit, so they had to reissue that warning, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm communicating with our teams upstairs, our digital team, just to make sure we are all good for all platforms. If you are watching on TV, I think we had hockey on. Apologies for interrupting your programming. It's something that we figured we might have to do. It's not something we like to do, but you know, keeping people informed here is the most important thing right now.
And it's going to be, we're probably going to stay on because they are heading toward a very populated area, the metro, and we cannot let our guard down with these storms. One brief tornado can cause a lot of damage.
Absolutely. We saw that in December. We saw that multiple times last year. You know, we had several large tornado outbreaks last year, and certainly don't want to say that this will amount to that. We always hope it won't, but we have to take these so seriously. So I think, Brad, what you mentioned about multiple tornado warnings is exactly right. Some of them overlapping. That clarifies shifted to pink.
That
essentially, what that means is a confirmed tornado, at least at one point. Doesn't necessarily mean it's still there on the ground right now, but we don't have any reason to know that it would not be there on the ground either. So this is now probably right over top of Prescott. It's going to be moving. We still see that bright color popping up here when Brad overlays the velocity.
So we're looking at the velocity. It's heading toward the Prescott area again, crossing Highway 34 in Adams County and moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. And that is, by my standards, and has been for the last 15 minutes, the most dangerous looking storm on the radar.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes all it is one storm, and that one storm can go for a long time if it's not interrupted by something else, if it doesn't have any competition for the inflow. So this is going to be moving into south central Adair County from Greenfield to the south. This includes Orient. It does include Creston, although the storm is probably going to go just to the north of Creston. I still would like you in Creston to be paying very close attention to this right now and being in that safe place. Orient, Greenfield, you need to go ahead and be in the safe place. And I do want to go ahead and give you a heads up. If you live farther to the north and east of this, we're looking specifically at Madison County. Even though this could lose some strength, it could change a little bit, this will probably be headed towards Madison County here very soon. And that means that eventually the tornado warning could get extended into Madison County, and that could include Winterset. So we need to watch that very carefully.
Oh, for sure about that, Brandon. And it looks like right now we are up to 2 confirmations that we've had. We had the one out to the southwest and now this one. So, you know, we're going to see what happens today. I'm hoping that they do lose some strength, at least as they head toward the metro. We don't have as much, but that's not a guarantee. I think the southern half of the state has the better chance. Now, that tornado watch does extend northern into, say, north of the metro. I'd say less of a chance there, but we're not going to let you, you know, take your guard down because it's still a threat area. But southern Iowa, we're going to watch that area very closely with all these cells developing here, and especially the next 3 hours. You know, the watch only goes till 8 o'clock. It's a short window for that tornadic development, you could say. So that is why we're watching it so closely here the next couple of hours, and then it'll calm down. We'll be back to basically winter weather looking forward with snow coming in tomorrow night, Brandon.
Yeah. Just a heads up, if you are having a hard time locating our live stream or you are having a hard time giving that information to a family member, one really easy way to get that is by texting the word weather, WEATHER, to the number 515-457-1026. Again, that's 515-457-1026. Text the word weather to that number and you'll get a link to our live stream. This storm,
cycling.
you know, quite honestly, it's cycling, but it looks a little bit healthier.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It went to, you know, how it filled in a little bit earlier. Now it's back to that open notch. And it's definitely got some great rotation with it. So you folks in Prescott, in your basements now, stay in your basements as we go through the next, well, at least 15, 20 minutes. They're moving at 40 miles per hour to 50, and it's going right over the Prescott area. Anyone around that area, if you live, of course, in rural areas and farmland, just be careful in this area as it moves through Prescott and Adams County, heading toward Cromwell, possibly, and also maybe between Nevinville and Cromwell. That'll be the next, the path of the storm.
Yeah, I'm going to pop over here to the video wall for just a second and show everybody kind of what we're looking at here. Brad was calling out some of these towns. This is the area right here that we're watching most closely. It's in Prescott at this point where that radar indicated rotation is, or where there's a confirmed tornado. At one point it was a confirmed tornado. Don't really know if that is still the case. Hopefully it's not, but it is something we have to treat in the same way. If you live along Iowa Highway 25 or you live in that area, this is going to be approaching you very, very soon. Orient, Creston, and the Greenfield area. So we're going to zoom in on that and show you exactly where this is headed. Do we want to put a track on that one, Brad?
Yeah, I can try. You know, the track is set for 2 hours, and not I thought we changed that actually, but it's set for a long time.
To be a short window, yeah.
Unfortunately, with fast-moving storms, it doesn't do as well. But this is approximately
going to carry us all the way out. Yeah. Okay, so here's the timeline, and take this with a grain of salt. This already says 4:40 arrival time in Winterset. So think about that for a minute. If you live in Greenfield, you live in Orient, it's going to get there before 4:40. So within the next 25 to 30 minutes for you. If it holds on its path, notice that that track takes it right into the Des Moines Metro. It had Waukee, it had Des Moines on there. That's why we are taking this one so seriously, as it'll come up into Adair County. If it continues, it'll head up into Madison County, maybe even southern Dallas County as well.
Yeah, and that's the particular cell, Brandon, that's not really having to struggle. It's not sharing the energy. It's pretty much got a pretty open flow on that southern end. So it's basically getting a good inflow, and it is a healthiest looking storm and producing a tornado in the Prescott area, again, moving up toward the Orient area. Seek shelter in these areas. We had a report, Brandon, of large hail, $half-dollar size hail reported by a chaser in Nottoway in Adams County. So, you know, large hail and tornadoes, they go hand in hand because you have strong updrafts, and that is definitely the storm we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and even if there's not a tornado, we could have very strong winds here. That's something that we know in the past couple of years. Wind has been a huge problem for us in Iowa, and this includes anyone up along Highway 25, State Route 25 from Creston up to Greenfield right now. This will probably stay outside of Adair. However, in Adair, you're getting a pretty healthy thunderstorm moving through right now. There's also a severe thunderstorm warning on top of it, and then another one up in Audubon County.
Sure, that one.
This one, it's it's really kind of going to fight for the energy, but that doesn't mean it can't produce damaging winds or hail, and that's going to be headed up towards Carroll County here soon.
Yeah, so the ones in the southern part of the state getting the warmer, more humid air to feed on, and it's still limited. I mean, we're still in early March. It didn't get that warm today, thankfully. You remember back on December 15th, and Brandon, of course, you know this, that it was 74 in 74 degrees. In the 70s, we had dew point around 60. It was unbelievably warm and humid. Today, not quite that much, so that's good news.
Right, and the narrow window that we have today, we don't have a long time for these storms to go because, by the way, behind this, cold air is going to rush in. There's a cold front that'll be coming through. It will turn very windy tonight as that front comes in. So once the cold air comes in, zaps those storms pretty quick because they don't like to live in a cold environment. They like to fuel off whatever warmth there is, even if it's not that warm. We're still checking in on the velocity there in south central Adams County, and it's moving. Are we still moving at 40 miles per hour?
Yeah, I'll double check on that, but it looked like it was 40 to 45 last check.
And still headed right there for that northwest corner of Union County.
Yeah,
here's
40,
the latest
40
with
miles
the
an hour.
storm.
Okay.
It's got, wow, some torrential rain. It's not fighting anything for the inflow. And, you know, on these kinds of days, all it takes is one supercell thunderstorm to get going. And sometimes it can go for a long time. It doesn't really get, it doesn't lose its energy.
Yeah, this one, for all the reasons you mentioned, this is the one we have to watch closely. It's produced a tornado. It does have kind of an open air environment where it can feed, and it's heading toward the metro. So that all those things basically say, hey, this is the guy to watch right now.
I was going to say that's what's most concerning. Not that we don't want to say that it's very concerning where it is right now, of course, because it is. But it's going to be entering these populated areas, and it's on a path. Unless it shifts somehow, it's on a path to come right into the Des Moines area, roll right through Winterset and through central Madison County. So even though in Madison County there's not currently a tornado warning for you, there probably will be here very, very soon. So if you live up along Highway 169, essentially north of Lorimore, up through Winterset and south of Adel, even though there's not a tornado warning right now, I'd say very, very soon there will be. So just be prepared for that. And we can't stress enough, if you are in this pink polygon, you need to be on the lowest floor of your home, of your building, away from windows and doors. Put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. And don't rely on those outdoor warning sirens. If you hear it, great. If you don't, though, that doesn't mean nothing's happening in your area. And we're getting a really close view of the storm right now. It's probably over Nevinville, which we already talked about.
Yeah, it's coming right into that area, Brandon. You're right.
Probably right on Highway 25.
Yeah, and heading toward Nevinville right now, and that means Orient, a little bigger town, also coming your way. Seek shelter. This is tornado confirmed at least a few minutes ago. Of course, we haven't had any new reports of that coming in, but still very strong rotation with that particular storm and has the capability. And we do get some reports of more hail, it looks like, but I'm not seeing any more reports of the tornado at this time. So we're continuing to watch that. Yeah, nothing, just the 1.5 inch. There's 1.75 inch hail. So this is pretty large hail for sure. And that is a sign of how strong this particular storm is as it comes out of Adams County and heads up into portions of southern Adair County, the Spalding area, for example, and heading toward Highway 25. So that is where it's heading right now, off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. It's almost 4 o'clock here. And again, we apologize for programming issues. The hockey game was on Local 5, and we have to stay on when there's tornadoes on the ground because they're so dangerous.
And we have a lot of people, I think, who are very interested and invested in getting this weather information. I mentioned texting the word weather to our phone number, and within moments we had multiple texts come through. So that's a good thing. Remember, you can text the word weather, WEATHER. There you go. Type in the word weather and text it to the number 515-457-1026. Again, that's 515-457-1026. What you're seeing here in blue is all of the ways you can keep up with our live stream and our information. WeAreIowa.com, YouTube. We are on Facebook. There's a Facebook Live going right now, and we are also streaming through the We Are Iowa app. As Brad mentioned, it is 3:59 and change, so it is just about 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
And I've got some information. They did have multiple touchdowns, briefly touching down south of Corning. So that's another confirmation. Thankfully, it was brief touchdowns. We haven't heard of any damage in the Corning area, but there were several brief touchdowns kind of skipping along there in the Corning to south of Corning, they said. So that is a report that we got early here. Multiple reports. So people saw it touching down just south of Corning earlier, about 10 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago or so.
And I do want to tell everybody, good news, Taylor County is no longer under a tornado warning. It has been canceled for Taylor County. So at this point now just includes Adair, Adams, and Union County.
Yeah, and it's going to kind of go right in the border between all those three counties right there, which is heading toward the Orient area. And maybe still, it looks like it may pass south of Orient, so probably between Orient and Creston it's going to pass. And that's Highway 25, and that's near the Spalding area. We talked about Nevinville as well. The circulation may pass just south of that. And we also have the hail here, and I probably want to show that hail real quick here, the hail track, and see if that pops up. So this is the hail that has been falling through the Prescott area. You can see that moving on through. That's the large hail that we've been reporting there. And let's see what the hail size is with the forecast here. So this is the hail size. So it's pretty large in that area, and I'll put a marker on that. So we're estimating at least 1 inch in diameter. It's been a little bit larger than that, but that's pretty close to what we've been seeing in this area. So yeah, it's a pretty serious storm with strong updrafts and strong rotation, and definitely producing tornadoes occasionally with this. We haven't had reports of damage, thankfully, out there. Seeing this wall cloud now being reported, which is 2 miles west-northwest of Cromwell. So that's in that same area, I believe. Let's see where we got that. So it's in the Cromwell area, the wall cloud being reported. That must be a different, there it is. Okay, there's the wall cloud. So the spotters are usually south, and so I doubt the wall cloud is in Cromwell, but it's near there, right? So the spotters are usually south of these storms. They get a better view of them, and they did see the wall cloud with that. A wall cloud's better than a tornado. Let me give you that, because it means there's no tornado if there's a wall cloud, so that's good news. But a rotating wall cloud still with this storm, it seems like it would have to have that, just the energy that it has, the rotation that it has. And is there anything new from your side, Brandon?
No, nothing really. I just see that this is really going to be that cell that we continue to watch as we go through the next several hours. I had a weird feeling it might be one storm that we had to watch, and this is it. It is not really fighting anything right now. There's a little bit of rain down in parts of Ringgold County, but at this point, this has got all the energy, it's got all the momentum, and it's going to be moving into Madison County here. These storms to the north of this tornado warning, don't get me wrong, they are strong. There's heavy rain, there's thunder, there's lightning, there could be some hail there as well, some gusty winds, but this storm is in a healthy environment, as healthy as it can be with the temperatures and dew points that we have right now, and it's moving into the Spalding area. I just saw on Twitter that there were some people who are seeking shelter at Creston High School. There might be some kind of event going on in Creston right now. I'm glad to see everybody taking the warning seriously, because even if this doesn't pass right over Creston, we want to err on the side of caution.
Yeah, so we're getting this nice inflow that you were talking about, Brandon, coming into this thunderstorm there, and you can see the donut nature of that. So it's basically what we call a supercell, and you can see that it's rotating. There's a circular motion there. When you get rotation like that, that just lends itself to producing wall clouds and eventually tornadoes. And the last report we had was a wall cloud with this, so it's probably only a matter of time, Brandon, before it does produce a tornado again from this cell. Yeah,
exactly. Sometimes they produce a tornado, that tornado lifts up for a short period of time, then it drops another tornado. It doesn't always mean there's this long track tornado with it, but that has that classic signature, as Brad kind of described it, like a donut hole, and it allows that to come in, and it is going to move into Madison County. I feel very confident about that, and Brad's going to put another track on it so that we can see those arrival times here in the top, and maybe we'll take this full screen to show that. There we go. So we've got an arrival time at 4:50 in the Winterset area. It is currently currently 404, so not too far off from Winterset. These are going to be in the Des Moines Metro, this storm, right after 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and again, it's better to have one big storm than a bunch of storms, which we had on December 15th when just about every one of those thunderstorms was producing a tornado. Right now, we've only got one thunderstorm that we have to really be concerned about. The other ones are capable of producing tornadoes, but they're not as healthy. This one has everything it needs right now. It's got the strong rotation, it's got a strong updraft, large hail, and it is definitely, it's already produced at least 1 or 2 tornadoes. Depends on how long it's on the ground, but it looks like it just kind of skipped its way through that area. Let me clear the screen here and go back to this storm. So this storm, we're going to zoom in closer now. Again, passing up toward the Spalding area. So this is going to be probably reissued. So the new warning is going to include Madison County. So you folks are on high alert basically because you'll be the next county seeing that. You folks in Creston, you're wondering, is this going to hit you? Well, I don't think so. It looks like it's going to pass to your north. Let me put this into loop mode there and we can see that better. Put this into loop and go with that. So you can see it moving off to the north there. It is moving off to the northeast and it should stay north of the Creston area. So it's not turning to the right, and that's good news for you folks in that area. So that's good there.
Brad, we might check out in a minute here the correlation coefficient. I've seen a little bit trying to pop up there.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, and that usually gives us some good indication as to what's going on too.
Yeah. So yeah, the correlation coefficient trying to show if there's any debris in the air. So if tornadoes would touch the ground, pick up something, could be, you know, corn stalks, it could be hopefully not a building, but anything that gets up in the atmosphere, the radar can differentiate if it's not a raindrop, if it's not hail, if it's something kind of weird shaped, and that's what we see here if it's something that's strangely shaped.
I was going to say it's stretching a little bit to say that there's a great signature popping up on correlation coefficient, but there is a little tiny bit. Actually, see this right here, this little blue area moving into the northwestern part of Union County. That is where we may have a tiny bit of debris. It's not an overly pronounced signature right now, but it is.
It does kind of stand out. You're right. So that definitely could be something there. Back to the radar, and again, we've only got this one cell. You can see it moving off to the northeast again, about 40 miles per hour. I think it's a good sign that these ones to the south, Brandon, have not become severe yet. Going through the Mount Air area, so that's good news there.
And I do want to let everybody know in Audubon County that the severe thunderstorm warning in your area has been canceled. So at this point, unless I'm missing something, in our area, I believe we've got 1 severe thunderstorm warning and 1 tornado warning.
Yeah. Because the red down here in Adams County, you can disregard that. We're going with the magenta. Now the difference of the magenta tornado warning says that is a confirmed tornado. The red was issued earlier, so it just kind of, it's a lingering effect right now is basically why you're seeing that, you folks in Cass County down to the south. But this is passing right through that the very corner there, just north of Cromwell and heading just south of Orient right now.
Yeah, so even though the polygon, like you were saying, was showing up for Adams County, it's done there. This is all moving into Union and Adair County now, and I would imagine very soon we will have a tornado warning issued for parts of Madison County.
Yes, that seems like an automatic right now. I'm going to stop that loop and see if there's any smaller towns. I mean, it's a pretty rural area, obviously a lot of farmland here, but you folks between Nevinville, Spalding, and then further south of that, it doesn't look like, again, Creston, you're going to be not impacted by this storm directly.
You know, there was just this is a spotter report, and there hasn't been any formal confirmation from the National Weather Service, but there was a spotter report of debris being lifted. They were seeing that 3 miles northwest of Creston, which is what we saw there on the debris tracker. Yeah.
So that's why the Doppler radar can be so beneficial. We can see so many things, the rotation, the debris, and it really helps us to tell you where the tornado is, where it's heading, and that's great that we can do that. Spalding, again, you are on the path. Seek shelter. As Brandon said, this is probably going to be reissued, so it's going to extend into Madison County very shortly. You can just count on a new tornado warning being issued here probably within 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, in fact, I would say if you are in Madison County, especially the central or southern parts from Winterset down to the south, go ahead and head into that safe place now, because even though this is not in your area at this point, it will be very soon. We know this storm is moving pretty rapidly. It'll be moving towards Highway 169. We've had reports of funnel clouds here very recently as well. Brad's putting another track on it. It's moving about 40 miles per hour to the northeast. That's the storm itself. A 4:45 arrival time in Winterset. Should it hold together at this same strength and speed, which at this point, I believe it might. 5:12 in Waukee, just before 5:30 in the city of Des Moines, and about 5:40 in Altoona, close to 6 p.m. in Colfax. So if this does not get interrupted and nothing really cuts off that inflow, that southerly flow, the moisture headed into this storm, we may be tracking this one for a couple more hours as it approaches the Des Moines metro.
And it's been confirmed again that we have a tornado. Let me clear the screen here.
Probably with that debris.
Yeah, and it is moving it's northwest, about 7 miles northwest of Creston, moving at 45 miles per hour is the latest confirmation of that tornado. Let me clear that off. I'm getting the wrong thing up here. But we are going to focus in on this storm above all others, because it is the one that is producing a tornado. And you can see this is northwest of Creston. It's passing Highway 25 right now, that tornado is, and it's kind of a rural area. They did mention a lake area, I believe.
Green Valley Lake.
Green Valley Lake area. So that area, if you're in that area, obviously you're close, and we've been warning you the whole time that you should be seeking shelter in these areas.
Also quite a bit of hail, golf ball size at times being reported.
For sure. So yeah, the hail continues to fall with this, and they go hand in hand. We're not getting reports from the other storms because they're much weaker. This is the big daddy out there, the biggest storm we have. We'll keep an eye on the ones to the south here. We still could see a warning for these areas, Mount Ayr and Osceola. You'll have to continue to watch those storms off to your west, and off to the north, no severe weather. So this is what I expected, Brandon. We were talking about, thunderstorms need warmth and humidity. We call it CAPE. It's convective available potential energy. So that energy is a necessary ingredient, and this one is in the best environment for producing severe weather because it has that.
Something I'm seeing just as I check spotter reports and things from storm chasers, out there in southwest Iowa, if you're not under the storm, the sun is out. Yeah, there's quite a bit of sun, and I'm actually seeing that. So what that means is there's fuel for storms. The sunshine adds warmth to the atmosphere, and it helps fuel them up. And as I check what we're seeing here at the Des Moines Airport, just for reference, our dew point is very close to 60. It's at 58 right now, and there is a south wind.
Okay.
So that just kind of shows us that this may continue.
And we do have a photo of that tornado. It was northwest of Creston, and again, do we have the name on that?
Oh, that's Mark. Yeah,
Mark.
I'm familiar with Mark DeBruin.
Okay. So yeah, you can see it up there up on the road. It's a little hard to see, but maybe we can go to the video wall. Is it easier to see on the video wall, maybe?
There we go.
Do you see the tornado, Brandon? Is it that little? I have to get closer to it to see.
It might be way back there.
Yeah, I see. I see the wind and the poles, but I don't see it back there. But you can see the low-hanging nature of these clouds right in here, and you can see basically the lower they get, the wall cloud in this area, the rain-free base, but then you've got rain on over in that side. But it's probably in this area here, but I can't really point it out right now. Unless this is it right here. There's maybe some debris right here. Is that debris?
It's quite possible.
It could be right here too.
Yeah,
that could be it right there. There's a little darkness there where it may be on the ground right there. So it's hard to see, obviously, but definitely a confirmation. Thank you for that picture out there. Chasers are out and about. So let's continue to watch the situation closely. Go back over here to the Weather Center.
Brad, this cell that we have kind of talked about and said would be uninterrupted, so to speak, it's moving quicker than those rain showers and weak thunderstorms down in southern Iowa. So those probably will not have a lot of effect on this. This one's moving pretty quickly, and I think it's got to be minutes here that we will see a tornado warning issued for parts of Madison County. It has, by the way, been completely canceled for Adams County, and now, with the exception of a tiny bit of that storm, this is all in Adair County, the southeast corner of Adair County. Still have some storms to the north up there in Guthrie County that are noisy, that have heavy rain, thunder, lightning, but those are not the ones that we are monitoring for that tornado potential. But boy, I got to tell you, if you are in the Winterset area, not to scare anybody, but if you are in Winterset, now's the time to think about where that shelter is going to be. Yeah, because this is not far off. That's the lowest floor of your home, of your building. away from windows and doors.
The new warning is coming, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, they said it's going to be issued until 5 p.m. for Madison, Union, Adair counties. Just hasn't been sent to our system yet, but it is coming in. So consider yourself under a warning here very, very soon there in Madison County, and certainly passing through the rest of Adair County there as well. Let me stop this loop again and get back to
And Brad, that is something that you and I have been saying for about 20 minutes now, that, hey, this was coming into Madison County. So you've had a lot of heads up if you're watching us here at Local 5. A reminder that there was a confirmed tornado at least multiple times with this cell. And Brad's pulling up the debris tracker here.
Not seeing what we were earlier, which is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Earlier, we had a report, by the way, just a little bit farther to the northwest of Creston that indicated that debris was actually being picked up and lofted into the atmosphere. We are seeing this very heavy torrential rain that likely has some very large hail, but it's this area kind of on the southern fringe of the storm that we have to watch for that tornado potential, and that is a pretty robust signature on the velocity there. That bright color representing that there's some rotation there.
Yes, definitely. Just south of the Spalding area or near Spalding right now, heading toward the Zion area, and then heading into Macksburg and heading into Madison County very, very shortly.
So Macksburg, Highway 169, including Winterset, you need to be in that safe place south of the Harrison community. This is going to be the southwestern and western part of Madison County. Go ahead, get into shelter. We know moments from now a tornado warning will be issued. That's already been said and confirmed by the National Weather Service. We are going to see that tornado warning extended to include probably a large chunk of Madison County, just given the speed of this storm. We are also watching that cell back. It's kind of a sister storm. It's like following it, but it's not getting that same sort of inflow because this one is hogging it all. Doesn't mean that we won't have stronger storms on the backside of that as well. But this is that single storm, that single supercell thunderstorm that we've got to watch probably for a while here still.
Yeah, and there's still a pretty good TVS, Tornadic Vortex signature. Yeah. So I'm looking at a different radar that we use, the GR radar, and it is showing a TVS in that area, southwest or west-southwest of Macksburg, just south of Orient. So the tornado or possible tornado passing just south of Orient, heading toward Macksburg right now at 45 miles per hour. So it is coming your way. So if you live between those two communities, and there are certainly, I can see on the map, there are certainly a lot of farmsteads there. So take shelter immediately. Still a very strong tornadic signature there. And chasers are watching it closely as well. But
Brad, we also had tennis ball sized hail reported in the Orient area.
Now, for some reason, the warnings aren't coming into our system. So we're just going to have to tell you that you're under a warning. I haven't gotten it.
You know why that is? Because the tornado warning expired at 4:15, and they haven't reissued the new one.
So the new one's coming down the pike.
It's coming. There is still an active tornado warning here, even if that polygon is not showing up. Just kind of a lag in when the National Weather Service, that one warning was set to expire at 4:15. They're working on getting that next warning out, is what it seems like to me. So disregard the fact that the polygon has disappeared and maybe it has stopped showing up on your phone or whatever device you're looking at. There is still a tornado warning here.
Yeah.
It is going to be reissued. It is going to head into Madison County. There is still very much a tornado threat here and probably will be that way for a while. I want to stress now that we are just past 4:15, we apologize for interrupting whatever coverage we had on TV. I believe there was hockey. Apologies. We don't like to cover programming up, but when there's life or property in danger, that's something we have to do. If you are unable to get us on cable or satellite or something like that on your TV, you can also live stream at weareiowa.com. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. And I recognize if you're watching this right now, you probably already figured that out. But it is a great resource if you know people who are in this area and you want to get them a way to see the weather. One of the best things you can do is by texting the word weather to the number 515-457-1026. And Brad, there is the new tornado warning. It is now for Adair, Madison, and Union County until 5 p.m. And it was a confirmed tornado near Green Valley Lake, which is why it's a pink polygon that's popping up. At one point, there was a tornado on the ground with this.
Yes, and all indications are there's still a tornado there with strong rotation, and it's still passing right around the Orient area between Orient and Macksburg right now. And we've also got a picture of some hail coming in. It was close to a golf ball size hail. We can take that over on the video screen there. So that was sent in by Ryan Frederick, it looks like. And so thank you for that picture. Take pictures safely and send them to us here. You can do that at weareiowa.com and upload those. But let's go back to the radar here. And again, we still have a tornado on the ground. And as expected, it is heading toward Macksburg. It is heading toward Winterset. You are in the tornado warning now. And it's still moving, I believe, off. Let's take a look at that speed again. Still at 45 miles per hour, I believe, at last report.
Yes. And also in that tornado warning, something that we haven't mentioned is 2-inch hail.
2-inch hail is possible, yeah. So it's a pretty healthy storm system still moving on through this area. And they do cycle a little bit. I'm looking at the rotation in this area, but it's still in that area. They're always in motion. Basically, you know, these thunderstorms are always like dancing, basically, and they're dancing with the wind, and they're always in motion. But this one is, again, kind of recycling itself, but it still has a pretty strong TVS heading toward Macksburg. So if you're in the Macksburg area, you need to seek shelter immediately. This is a serious situation. You don't want to be above ground. You want to get yourself below ground, away from windows. You can cover yourself with something. Just let the storm pass. It's not going to take very long. It's moving at 40 miles per hour. There are the rules that you need to know there as far as the tornado safety. So just take heed of the storm. It is definitely a tornado producer. We've definitely seen several tornadoes with it.
Yeah, thankfully, and this is not to say that it hasn't happened, but thankfully, with the tornado confirmations that we've had, there have not been any reports of damage.
Yes, thankfully.
Now, there might be some damage, and we just don't know about it yet.
But that sometimes happens, yeah, but nothing catastrophic at this point, so let's hope that continues. It is heading, though, into more populated areas. You get into Madison County and then eventually up into Polk County, perhaps, or Warren County. So we're just hoping it weakens. That would be the best case scenario, and it could weaken, but we can't count on that because right now it looks pretty healthy at this point, and it is heading off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour and heading toward Winterset right now. And so we've had many reports of hail coming in. I haven't seen any real gusty winds with that. So that's one thing we haven't seen with this.
Which is kind of interesting because we thought that might be one of the primary things here.
I think Storm Prediction Center thought that was the main threat. We were thinking maybe tornadoes were the main threat, at least we thought.
And with this cell, maybe that's holding true. I'm a little surprised to see quite so much large hail. I didn't know how much energy we would have. Sometimes that really is dependent on how much CAPE that we have. Brad mentioned that. It's called convective available potential energy, essentially how much juice there is in the atmosphere to get these storms going. This is a tornado warning that has at one point had a confirmed tornado moving right into central and southern Madison County. This does not include Earlham right now. It does include the Winterset area, and that includes central and southern Madison County. And I appreciate what our production team is doing here. We are able to put that hockey game in the other box there. So hopefully
it's getting closer to the end of that game, so we wanted people to see that. So
check in on the action.
It's a close game. We know you love your team and all that.
But we got to keep people safe too. So there it is. It's side by side. I know you can't hear it, but nowadays there are many ways to watch sports live online as well. And we've got to keep people safe here. So I can't stress enough, the Winterset area needs to be in that safe place now. Should we check in on the velocity again on this storm?
Yeah, let's zoom in for a closer look on that. And again, we'll try to keep that double box up through the end of this game, and then we'll go back to full screen. But we're looking for velocity scope here, and it's still pretty strong in this area. You can see it passing through
colors.
the Zion area and heading toward Macksburg right now. So there's still a very strong indication of rotation there. Maybe not as strong as it was earlier. I'm looking at rotation here on another radar, but it's still very strong. And again, it's heading toward Macksburg within a few minutes. So take shelter in that area. And we had a report of 2.5-inch hail from a trained spotter. That's tennis ball size hail, 2.5-inch diameter.
That's very large hail.
And that was just east of, say, Orient and between Orient and Mattsburg. Again, this storm is heading toward Macksburg, likely to produce a tornado if it's not right now, because they do cycle. It doesn't mean the tornado is always on the ground, but it could come down at any moment there. And Brandon, are you going to go to the video wall there?
Yeah, I was going to head over there just to give everybody kind of a bigger picture here. And This is right now where there's likely a tornado. It's going to continue moving, though, quickly to the north and to the east. The large hail is probably just to the north of where that rotation is happening. And this is not a very large picture that we have on our radar. We've got a couple of showers and thunderstorms down in southern Iowa. But this cluster is headed right up into the Des Moines metro and the west side of the metro. And
thankfully, this will be it. Once this passes our area, folks, we're done. We're going to get colder, and there will be no more storms, no more severe weather. But we've only got one game in town, one storm in town, and it is this one right here. And it's a doozy right now.
Winter set, you got to be in the safe place now. It's coming up to 169, where that meets Highway 92, and as well I-35. I'm going to step over to the other side and show you where that's going to be headed. Just to give you that really early heads up, we're looking at St. Charles, we're looking at Norwalk, and if it holds together, it'll be Cumming and the Des Moines Airport area, the south side of Des Moines. Yeah. This is where that's going to brush through. But right now, it's in the heart of Madison County where it's approaching. This is likely where we've got that rotation popping up. Macksburg, it's on top of you. You've got to be in the safe zone. Harrison, it's coming into you. And anybody along Highway 169 and, of course, the Winterset area as well.
Yep, I'm looking at strong rotation. There's actually two different areas, so it might be trying to do two different tornadoes, but there's certainly one just to the east of Macksburg. Yeah. It may pass just north of Macksburg, looking at it more precisely, but that's not a guarantee. I would say everybody in Macksburg, you should be in your tornado safe space right now, because this storm is definitely the dangerous storm that we have out there right now. And as of right now, it's the only one. We do have to watch this one to the south, Brandon. I am noticing a little notch starting to develop on that. They do want to rotate. It's a matter if they can find the energy to become severe, but we'll probably see a tornado warning issued eventually further to the south. It might even be in Missouri, but still, there's definitely something happening down here.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service even just said, we're really, watching this cell very closely because of the strong rotation that it has right now, but because within 20 to 30 minutes, it's going to be approaching that southwest side of the metro. Yes. And
yeah, it's just, when basically it has a better chance of causing problems when it comes into a highly populated area. If it's out in rural Iowa, it may touch the ground for a while and just not do any damage at all. It might be in the middle of a field. But it's, the odds are that if it touches down in Polk County, it'll have a better chance of hitting a house, which we do not want to see. So we'll keep you up to date here. Again, heading into the Macksburg area, that rotation, let's again put the velocity. I'm going to go to the actual rotation product and see if that is showing up on the shear track. So this is where the shear has been. That's basically the past shear, basically. And I'm going to take a look at the actual shear vision here.
Brad, one of the storm chasers that I follow, Willard Sharp, he just tweeted in Orient there is some pretty large hail. There is a car that actually has a sign called school bus on it, so I imagine it's a school district vehicle. The glass is totally shattered on it because of the hail.
Yeah, we had baseball-sized hail there, folks, so that's unbelievably large, especially for this time of the year. We were talking about that. That is unbelievably large. So let me see if I can get this line to work here. I don't want straight line. But yeah, I'm just showing you the shear vision right now. I wanted to show you that as we go through this. And the situation is that we have large hail and a possible tornado, and I'm going to get out of this and get back to the radar.
There's actually, not to interrupt you, quite a bit of damage in the Orient area from hail.
From the hail,
yeah. Lots of windshields that I'm seeing are, as some people are calling it on Twitter, this is not my report, toast. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of insurance claims coming to Orient very soon with all that hail in that area. And again, we're double boxing your hockey game for you right now as we trying to get to the end of the hockey game and also trying to balance programming and severe weather as well. But this storm is heading into Madison County right now, and we are expecting it to hold together as it comes toward the metro.
I have to stress, knowing all of the hail reports and hail damage that we've seen in that Macksburg and Orient area, or specifically in Orient, that signature there, Brad, for the hail is still pretty prominent. And I worry that there could be more hail problems in Madison County here very soon. We might actually want to pull up that hail tracker.
Yeah, I'll get that up right now.
Yeah.
So Yeah, this is showing the past hail, so you can see it kind of going, this says it was right south of Orient. That is basically the past. Let's go to the hail size, which will show us the current situation with the hail coming into Harrison. So it doesn't, I think it probably lost its larger hail. I'm going to put a marker on this and see what it says. This is saying it's quite a bit smaller.
Brad, actually, we have a picture from
hail.
Willard Sharp, if we want to take that in the video wall. Okay. That's the initial photo of the hail, but then if we go to the other one, which I believe we probably have.
Yeah.
We don't have that one yet, but that's where we can see the whole windshield, the back windshield of that vehicle that is completely ruined.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's been quite a situation. There's still rotation. It's just north of Macksburg right now. So again, this is the storm that has produced tornadoes. It has produced tennis ball sized hail, causing extreme damage in the Orient area. And hopefully that hail is not as large now. Our indications are that maybe it's not, but it's still a very powerful storm heading toward Winterset. And Harrison, you probably are seeing some hail in your area right now.
Yeah, so let's zoom in, Brad. I know we've got the game here double box, so we can zoom in over at the video wall pretty closely just so we see Winterset. And that's moving right there into Winterset. This storm is going to brush right past it where we could see that tornado. And that's the intersection of Highway 92 and Highway 169, which is right through the heart of town, right there through the heart of Madison County. And I can't stress enough that this is probably headed in that direction. I'm going to come over here to the video wall for a minute.
Yeah.
And what Brad is showing is the shear, which is where we had reports of probably some rotation, some pretty high wind shear there. And it's on this path, so it comes right there into the southern side of Winterset, probably right through the heart. And along 169, then passes that way and continues off to the north and to the east.
We do have that baseball-sized hail right now. I think they're going to pop that up for you. There it is.
Wow. So this is from Colby Martin. This was in the Orient area. You can see how large this hail is, and look at what it says. Lots of hail damage. This is the one I was reading. Windshield is toast. I don't know if that's his windshield or if it's somebody else's, but like Brad said, several insurance claims probably coming in Orient here very soon because of the large hail. There was another picture of what looked like maybe a school district vehicle there that had the back windshield completely shattered out. So if nothing else, if a tornado doesn't occur in your area, which we sure hope it doesn't, there's also this threat of very large hail, and it's all from this single supercell right now along I-80 in parts of northern Madison County. We're talking Earlham, Van Meter. Torrential rain is coming down. So if you are thinking, by the way, of maybe traveling right now in the Des Moines area or along I-80, I'd stay put.
Yeah, and
I don't think this is a good idea to get.
And Brandon, I'm certain this is heading toward the Winterset area right now. So just looking at the track, it is heading maybe the south side of Winterset, but it's heading into Winterset here. So take cover immediately in the Winterset area. Very dangerous storm, large hail potential. The tornado has been spotted several times with this. It's a dangerous storm, folks. So don't go looking for it. Go looking for shelter, basically, and then you can come out afterwards, basically.
I totally agree. If you are in another area and you have family in Winterset and you want them to have this information, which I hope you do, you can tell them to text the word weather to the number that we'll see here on your screen. That's 515-457-1026. Don't text those quotation marks because sometimes that doesn't always work. Just the word weather, W-E-A-T-H-E-R, to 515-457-1026. We are also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, WeAreIowa.com, the We Are Iowa app, and of course we're live on Local 5. The hockey game, Brad, I believe is probably approaching its end.
They're fighting right now, Brandon. I don't know what's going on, but we've got a fight of our own going on here as we look at this tornadic thunderstorm heading into Winterset area. It is in Madison County right now. I expect that tornado warning is going to be cleared for Adair County very soon if it hasn't been already. You're basically clear there.
It is cleared for Union County, so I'm just updating our director there.
They will drop it for Adair. But it is this Winterset storm right now, and it doesn't look as healthy, I'll just say that, but it is still producing rotation. I'm seeing it right now. Still a TVS north of Macksburg heading toward Winterset, and again probably getting to Winterset within 10 or 15 minutes. So you folks just take cover in Winterset right now. Get everybody into their proper place. If you've got, like you said, elderly or those, maybe call on them and let them know that something's happening.
Winterset, such a populated area right there, the county seat of Madison County, and this is headed right into town, I'm afraid. We don't necessarily know that there's a tornado on the ground right now, but we have to believe there is because we've had several reports of that as well. By the way, at the bottom of your screen, you've seen the banner change to just say Madison County. It is now over in Union County. It is now over in Adair County. This is moving completely into Madison County. But as I have done so today, and as Brad has done so, I want to give you a heads up. If you are in Polk County, if you are in southwest and southeast Dallas County, or you are in the northwest corner of Warren County, this is coming your way. So if you're in St. Charles, if you're in Cumming, if you are near the Des Moines airport, at this point, this thing is not slowing down. It is going to approach the Des Moines Metro here very soon, and we'll put the track on that, and we can take...
just give an idea. Winterset here very, very shortly, within 10 minutes, less than 10. Norwalk at 5:10. The Des Moines area about 5:20 or sooner, so about an hour from now or less.
Okay. So within an hour, we could be dealing with this in the Metro. We would love to see that the characteristics, the tornadic characteristics, the velocity, that would all weaken, but there's nothing blocking it. There are still these cells that we're watching to the south, but this one's sort of racing and it's beating them at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is eventually going to be a point where this storm will start to weaken and start to die off. It is headed towards a more unfavorable environment.
It is, and I'm already seeing signs. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say that it's going to die off because it's still very strong, still has a strong rotation, and that rotation is heading right into at least Winterset or the south side of Winterset. Looks like it's the trajectory of that. So you folks in Winterset, take cover immediately. Stay there until the storm has passed. It's not going to take very long. By 5 o'clock, you will be out of the storm's path. So just a few more minutes or so, half hour, and you will be in better shape. But again, Winterset.
There was a tornado spotted south of Winterset.
Okay, there you go. So it's between Macksburg and Winterset right now. So a tornado on the ground here. Let's go in for that closer look here. And yeah, we've been watching that. You can just see that area. And if I show the velocity scope,
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Brad. There will be a tornado warning here issued momentarily for parts of southeast Dallas County, Warren County, Polk County until 5:15.
Okay.
That has not been issued yet. And the reason they're telling us that ahead of time is just so that we get that good lead time. So that will include Cumming, Norwalk, I imagine, probably the south side of West Des Moines, like the Jordan Creek area, Mills Civic Parkway area.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know how far north it'll extend immediately, but definitely that southwest side. And they are still saying there was a confirmed tornado located near Winterset. Let's see, a train spotter has visually confirmed a large tornado southwest of Winterset. Debris is now visible. It is moving into town, and now the storm is northeast at 50 miles per hour. So it has picked up speed, and there is a tornado on the ground moving into Winterset on the south side of Winterset right now. Yeah. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, we're not seeing much on the CC, the debris correlation coefficient right now, but maybe that takes a while to render.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets kind of clouded with heavy rain. Sometimes it gets a little bit confused between what it's actually hitting.
But you can see this storm again heading right toward Winterset or just south of Winterset. Tornado on the ground. We've been serious about this storm. You can usually sense by our voice and how serious the situation is. This is a serious situation for Winterset. You folks south of Winterset, please get into a safe place.
Yeah, absolutely. Winterset, this is, I hope that there is not a tornado on the ground coming into town, but there very quite possibly could be, and we certainly want to take that very closely. Brad, you know, I have an idea here. Why don't we zoom in really close to Winterset, just kind of give those...
and it's getting close to 169, so it's probably going to be passing that really soon. But
and that's Highway 92, so we're talking the central part. And actually, so I can see it better, I'm going to pop over to the video wall here.
Because I would say, you know, down on Carver Road, south of town, that's probably going to be an area to watch if you live on that area, or along 169. A lot of homesteads along 169 south of Winterset. if you want to see some of those others. But this is Winterset itself right here. And
it's going to be this southern edge, I believe. Hopefully it doesn't go right through the heart of town, but we're talking, you know, South 4th Avenue. If you live over near Clark Tower Road, and then the street that you mentioned, Brad, 169 and 92, where they meet, this is going to pass just to the south of there. But it's very, very close to that intersection. So this south side of Winterset, it's being covered with rain right now, but that's where we likely have that tornado moving.
Gosh, and I was just looking at the trajectory. It might actually come into the city of Winterset right now.
Okay.
It really looks like it. Just looking at that, you can see it right here, guys. And again, I can show. Let me see if I can see it with the shear right now, if that pops it up. So that's pretty much it. It's moving northeast. So this is kind of a broad area, but in that blue is where the tornado is.
And it's coming right into town.
It is.
So I hesitate to even call out a certain part of Winterset.
Yeah.
If you live in the city of Winterset or right around it,
yes,
shelter, because this is coming your way. And by the way, I know what we like to do here in Iowa. We like to look outside and try to see it. Don't try, because there's a ton of heavy rain right now too. So you won't see it. It would likely be rain wrapped.
Yeah.
And
I believe sirens are going off here.
I was just going to say, here comes the new warning. We hear the sirens in West Des Moines. That includes now the city of Des Moines, Norwalk, the airport, Windsor Heights, Martinsdale, Cumming, St. Charles. This is a big warning. It's north of Indianola. It'll include Carlisle and even Pleasant Hill.
Yeah.
This will go until 5:15. And now, if you are in the city of Des Moines, if you are by the airport, you're on the south side, you're on the west side of Des Moines, you're in Windsor Heights, you've got to be in shelter, because this is a tornado moving in our direction. We don't necessarily know if there will be a tornado on the ground at that moment, but it is coming for the Des Moines Metro.
And it looks like the tornado is just about to 169 right now, Brandon, and passing up into the Winterset area right now. So again, this is going to hit the Winterset area first and then move off to the northeast and head toward the Norwalk and Des Moines areas.
Cross over I-35.
Yeah, so again, a very, very dangerous situation. I believe the hockey game's over now, so we're back to full coverage, and good timing, because we're now entering the, the more populated areas here of central Iowa, and this is a dangerous storm. History of producing tornado. Large hail, Brandon. We had hail of baseball size, or at least tennis ball size.
Yeah, we had damage from the hail in Orient. Cars with their windshields completely shattered. This is now 4:40 p.m. There is a tornado bearing down on Winterset right now. We've had visual confirmation of this. It is bearing down on the city of Winterset. Can't stress enough that this is a serious situation. It's going to continue moving northeast, and that will include I-35. If you live, say, near the I-35 school district in some of those schools, it'll be coming in your direction, heading north of 92, moving into Warren County and including Polk County. We are in West Des Moines, where our studios is. We hear the sirens now.
Brandon, we have debris reported south of Winterset. So debris reported south of Winterset, multiple reports. So there is damage in the Winterset area, especially that south side, but it looks like it's going right through the city right now. You folks, we've been warning you for an hour now, but this is for real now. It is going right through the Winterset area. We do have damage. We do have debris in the Winterset area from initial reports from this storm, and it'll be passing over 169 now, and you can see where that notch is with the storm, and then back here is where the storm is likely at, crossing 169 and that Carver Road that I was talking about. I believe that's about where the tornado is right now in this area of 169 and Carver Road. Moving off to the northeast, it'll be coming up toward the Clark Tower Road as well. The sirens sounding here in the Des Moines area in West Des Moines. We are in the path of this storm. It's going to head toward the Patterson area and continue off to the northeast, we believe. So heading onto Warren and Polk counties.
You know, the National Weather Service said the same thing that you and I have been saying for a while now. There's nothing to stop this storm. At this point, it is going to move eventually towards a more unfavorable environment, but it's not there right now. And this has got nothing blocking it, nothing blocking that inflow. And there's no reason to believe right now that this supercell is going to weaken.
Yeah.
And
It's also really, Brandon, in that area called the triple point we talk about in meteorology, and that's an area that's also very favorable for tornadic formation, and that's kind of where this storm is. It's in the sweet spot, basically, where it's getting some warm air from the south. It's getting a little bit of an east or southeast wind here at the surface, and it is the most dangerous storm we've had all day, and it continues to produce a tornado in the Winterset area now. I'm sure we will be sending some crews that direction if News is listening right now, so we can send a crew out there once the storm has passed.
Yeah, let's not, of course, send anybody right now.
Yes.
But definitely, we're going to have to watch for damage in that area. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, it's passing over 92 now, so it's getting very close to Highway 92. It'll passing through Winterset now, going to the east and northeast of Winterset here in the next few minutes. So hopefully everybody take heed of this as it goes in toward the, just probably going west of Patterson and north of Patterson is what it looks like right now. And of course, that new warning has become a magenta warning, and we told you that means that tornado confirmed. So now we have tornado confirmation heading into the portions of Polk County and also down into Warren County. So again, Des Moines is in this warning. Everybody off to the southwest, the Cumming area, the Norwalk area, all in this tornado warning. It is the real deal. This is a real tornado.
It's a wedge tornado.
It's a large
I'm seeing
tornado.
Pictures of it now. And to my producer, Simon, if you check my Twitter account, I am retweeting a couple of pictures that we can pull up on our tag board system to show people. It is a big tornado.
Okay. So folks, it's passing east of Winterset now. I think the damage was mostly on the south side. We don't have confirmation of that yet, but definitely damage in Winterset from this tornado. Looking at some of the spotters, definitely debris spotted there. The signature is passing to the east and northeast of Winterset now and heading toward north of Patterson, heading toward the Cumming area. And that's where we're going to expect this tornado's path to continue. So again, very, very dangerous storm. If you are in the Patterson area, Cumming area, Martinsdale, and right up into the Des Moines area, now is the time to put your action plan going forward, because everybody should be in a safe place now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have to admit, Brad, this is concerning, knowing that we've got this large tornado there. And at this point has probably passed through Winterset. So we are going to check in to see how Winterset has fared. And we now know that this is going to be headed up into Warren and Polk County. The sirens are sounding here in West Des Moines. We're starting to hear those cracks of thunder. That's because this supercell is not too far off. It'll be approaching the Patterson area very soon. It's going to pass right over Martinsdale, Norwalk, Cumming, and the West Des Moines area, West Des Moines and South Des Moines. So we're looking at the Jordan Creek area, Mills Civic Parkway, and in that smaller box that we could actually take bigger, Brad, is there we go. That's the tornado that was on the ground.
Yeah. That's a large tornado, and I don't know how much of that is reaching the ground, but that is a wedge tornado there. That is a powerful system moving. That's the one that passed through Winterset, apparently.
Yeah.
That was tweeted, huge wedge tornado, and that was by Chris. What's his name? Do you see that? His name?
Chris Risky.
Okay.
Is how you pronounce his name.
Okay, so this is what we're dealing with, folks. A tornado on the ground heading through Winterset and passing now to the east of Winterset. Still a real problem for Patterson area, and heading off to the northeast. It is going to be heading through eastern Madison County and a rural area, but everyone in that area seeks shelter. The Bevington area, Churchville area, and on up into the Cumming area. All of these areas, it'll be passing Interstate 35 shortly. So, if somebody's traveling, they're traveling there, I don't know, give them a text message or call them rather and let them know, because this is a dangerous storm, and it is producing a tornado and heading to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour.
We are trying to get in touch per our producer with the emergency managers there in Madison County.
They're busy as can be.
Right, just to see if we can, and Simon, who is our producer, if we cannot get a hold of emergency management, maybe they're pretty busy, we could try the sheriff's department and see in Madison County if there's anyone available there as well.
Okay, we still have a TVS, a Tornadic Vortex signature, and that is just to the east between Winterset and Patterson. It'll probably pass just north of Patterson by the looks of it, but still very, very close to Patterson is that tornado, and moving again off to the northeast and heading toward the Norwalk area and also into the south side of Des Moines if it continues this trajectory.
Yeah, all right, Brad, I'm going to head over to the video wall because I want to give a good picture. This is a very big supercell that has a confirmed tornado with it. Winterset is pretty much done with this now. Now it's going to be a matter of figuring out what sort of damage has occurred there. The heavy rain is starting to approach the western metro as we hear it on the rooftop here in West Des Moines. But this is headed right for I-35. I cannot stress enough, if you are listening to us, if you are watching us, get off I-35. We don't want anybody on the interstate in between West Des Moines and St. Charles. This is a very dangerous situation. Again, going to be approaching the Madison and Warren County line, approaching Norwalk, Martinsdale, Cumming. If you know people who are traveling along the interstate, call them, tell them to pull off, get in a gas station, get in some kind of building, some kind of place of business to get that shelter, because this is going to pass right over the interstate and come into the south side of the metro.
And looking at the correlation, it's just kind of messy, and sometimes it just doesn't work very well, but there's
nothing popping out immediately.
Nothing popping. It's just kind of muddy or messy. But let me go back to the shear, and we can see that. That kind of helps people just clearly see where that strongest rotation is. Right between Winterset and Patterson, that is where the tornado is, and it is moving to the northeast.
Yeah. So it's going to approach I-35 within a matter of minutes, actually, because this is moving at last check at 50 miles per hour, the storm itself to the northeast.
Yeah, it's generally heading toward Norwalk and the south side of Des Moines unless it changes its direction. That's where it's headed right now. And so you folks in Patterson and all of this eastern portion of Madison County, seek shelter now.
Yeah, and this, we know our Doppler radar, just by nature of how Doppler radar works, might be a moment or two behind. So this is already very close to I-35.
Yes.
It's going to go to the north of Martinsdale, it looks like, based on this path. But I can't stress enough, it's headed towards the Norwalk area, Highway 28 and Cumming. And what you will notice in most of the Des Moines metro, even depending on where the actual rotation goes, is all this torrential rain that's about to come down. So if you are on I-235 or I-80, you need to get off the roads now too, because this is going to be coming down very heavily. Visibility will drop quickly, and the hail core looks like it has probably diminished some.
Yeah,
and hopefully quite a bit.
It has some. There's still some pretty good north of Patterson.
Okay.
Possibly some hail.
But hopefully not the baseball or the egg-sized hail.
No, I don't think it's probably golf ball or smaller right now. I
think. Which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like at this point we're not too far off from seeing that tornado warning trimmed for Madison County. It is still in Madison County, but it's going to quickly move out of there. We are going to see the core of this storm moving into Norwalk and the Des Moines International Airport. Simon, if you're hearing me, our producer, can you check the Des Moines International Airport and see? I imagine there's a bunch of cancellations right now. I imagine planes are being diverted. They're not landing right now, I can tell you that. They're going somewhere else. So if you have flight plans or you are supposed to pick somebody up from the airport, you want to check with your airline or with the airport, because I would not be landing right now.
I'm getting multiple reports now, Brandon, of damage in the Winterset area after the storm has passed, and basically people are out looking now. Barns and houses badly damaged in Winterset. 2 miles east-southeast of Winterset, tree damage and some minor damage to a home. So there is damage in Winterset for sure. We thought that earlier, and now it's confirmed by several spotters who were following this storm through the path.
Yeah, so hopefully the tornado itself will lift, and we don't want to see any more damage, but we know that there has been damage in the Winterset area. I imagine once this storm passes, we will send a crew down to Winterset to check that out. Obviously not very far from West Des Moines, and we've got to keep a close watch on what this is about to do. There is torrential rain. There is a likely tornado approaching Norwalk, one of our main suburbs here in Des Moines, I-35, the Cumming area, And again, the south side of Des Moines, we're looking right here. This is Highway 5, by the way, so it'll include areas like Highway 5, Army Post Road, Highway 28, the Southeast 14th and Southwest 9th area, especially closer to the airport and closer to the South Ridge Mall. This is, still several minutes away from that area, but just trying to give everybody that good heads up.
Yeah, it may be cycling itself right now. We know we had the tornado on the ground in the Winterset area. It's probably going to produce another tornado. It may still have a tornado on the ground. We don't have confirmation either way, but it's changed its structure a little bit, and it's still a very, very powerful supercell thunderstorm with a rotation galore in it. And the National Weather Service reiterating what we were talking about, this thing isn't slowing down much. I mean, it has enough fuel and it has a lot of rotation, and it continues to produce a tornado, and a wedge tornado at that. So just watching more information coming in now. We're just hoping that it will weaken before it gets up into more of the populated areas. And just a terrible situation tonight, this early in March, that we're dealing with severe weather already in this area. So there it is, moving off to the northeast, and you can see it's
as I just try to reiterate, there is significant damage on Highway 92 in the Winterset area.
Yeah, is that more the south side?
I'm not totally sure.
Which side of town? But that is, we knew that it was coming in there, folks, and unfortunately it was on the ground when it did. And now it is heading in through eastern Madison County. This is our tornado right north of Patterson right now. So this is the area to watch, and the area to be most concerned about as it wraps up in this little ball right here. And we still have a pretty strong inflow. The inflow is coming in here on that notch, and it is really still sucking in some air. It's not the warmest air it could have, but it's definitely enough to keep this storm going. So that is a real concern for us. Again, the air coming in from the southeast here, wrapping itself around. As this storm kind of wraps itself around, we get the rotation, and it is a strong thunderstorm for sure.
Brad, just in a new spotter report, just talking about the damage in the Winterset area. Homes and trees have been damaged. A garage was destroyed on Highway 169. And now, you mentioned that this is probably cycling, but sirens going off in the Des Moines Metro.
Yes.
This is a very serious situation. I really do hope this will lift off the ground, but
so far, no.
No.
It looks like a very strong tornadic signature right now. It doesn't look like it's weakening at all. It hopefully will, but right now we have no reason to believe that. So everybody in the path of this tornado needs to seek shelter immediately, and that includes you folks in the Cumming area and the folks in the Martinsdale area, Norwalk, and into the south side of Des Moines, if not all of Des Moines, just to be safe. But I'm pretty sure right now that it's going to be the south side of Des Moines, probably airport or south of there, that it's trajecting toward right now. So again, seek shelter immediately in these areas. For the moment right now, it's going to be closing in on I-35, closing in on that area between basically Madison County and Warren County. So right along that county line there is where we're seeing this again.
There is a new severe thunderstorm warning coming too for the west side of the metro for hail.
Okay.
And it may just be to kind of go in tandem with this tornado warning, but there is a new one coming.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, boy, it's been a rough stretch of weather here. Starting, it feels like we've been on the air for half a day right now, but it's only been a couple of hours, and it gets worse. Unfortunately, this is a very dangerous storm. Everyone passed through Winterset, tornado on the ground, damage there. We've had large hail, up to tennis ball size hail, and now it's north of Patterson, the tornado, and moving up north of Bevington, near Bevington and Churchville areas, and probably near Cumming as well.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough that if you are in the Des Moines Metro, there is no reason not to be in a safe place right now. We know that this is a serious storm. I'll pop over here again to the video wall so that we can just talk about this. We don't have any additional reports that have come in just yet of this tornado ever since it's passed the Winterset area. but we also don't know that it has lifted. So we've got to believe that this is still on the ground. And right now, this storm is on top of I-35. It's moving into Cumming and moving into Norwalk. And right here is where the Des Moines International Airport is. So if you live in any of these communities, you should be in a safe place. But quite frankly, this will continue going up to the north and to the east. So if you live in the city of Des Moines, if you live in Windsor Heights, if you live in Carlisle, Pleasant Hill, Altoona, you need to go ahead and be in your safe place, because this is going to continue on that path. What Brad has circled here right now is where we are likely seeing that tornado.
Yeah, and we just got my producer, Simon, we have a new picture, I believe, up that we can put up. Okay, this is from Jonah. You can see that popping up there. So from Jonah, and I can't see that very well. Can you put it on the big screen for Brandon maybe over there? You can...
Yeah, so that is damage there from Jonah Lange, or Lange, I apologize if that's not right. That's quite a bit of damage. I don't know how well you can see it, but there are some trees, and there is something that was there, some sort of building or barn that has been badly damaged in Winterset. I've already communicated with our crews. We will be going to Winterset once this storm passes, once it's safe to do so. Right now, it's not safe to do so. And we've also got to make sure this thing doesn't do any damage in the Des Moines area, which it's quite possible that it will.
Yeah.
If this trajectory doesn't change. I do want to stress that if you are in Waukee, if you are in Urbandale, if you are in Johnston, there is a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for you, as we're going to see strong winds and hail. You probably will not see the tornado threat. However, Waukee, West Des Moines, Urbandale, Johnston, Ankeny, you need to be in the safe place right now. The pink is where we've got that tornado warning. That includes the city of Des Moines, the south side, the east side, Norwalk, Carlisle, Cumming, Altoona, Pleasant Hill, and downtown. All of those areas that I just called out. This is going to be, it's rolling over I-35 right now. It's going to move to Highway 28 and Highway 5. So Norwalk, you're the next community that I'm really concerned about. And not that I'm not concerned about everybody, but that's the one that this is.
It's heading south of Cumming and through the Churchville area toward the Norwalk area. And again, so it's going to be on the south side of Des Moines, which is good for the folks here in Des Moines. But you're still in that path of some heavy rain, maybe some hail. But the tornado itself it's right here. It's not moving. It's heading in that same direction. It's off to the northeast. So again, crossing I-35 momentarily here, heading toward Norwalk and the Cumming area, and probably south of Cumming is where the tornado will be.
So Brad, I am going to step off here for just a minute, but I want to start with a sort of reset. It is now 5 o'clock on the nose here on Saturday. If you are just jumping in, you've heard the sirens, you're clicking on line, and you are giving us you're watching us for this information. We are tracking a tornado on the ground moving into the Des Moines metro area right now. This has a confirmed tornado warning out until 5:15. This storm has had a history of producing significant damage in Winterset, and we've had even so much as now 12-inch trees that were snapped, branches that were snapped, a path 100 yards wide on Clark Tower Road in the Winterset area.
And it's headed right toward Norwalk, and the Weather Service is saying basically, Norwalk, take shelter immediately. This is a very, very dangerous situation. So Norwalk is the next town to get hit with this particular tornado. And it was Winterset, now it's Norwalk. It'll continue on that trajectory probably toward the Avon area as well, south side of Des Moines. So coming very close to the airport, in fact, not too far from that, but still heading toward Norwalk. You folks in beautiful Norwalk, take shelter immediately. Go to the lowest place of your home or building that you're in, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outdoors as you can. This is a dangerous situation, probably more dangerous than any situation we had, even back on December 15th, that it was so dangerous.
Those were smaller, yeah.
This seems more dangerous. Seems like a larger tornado, perhaps, and it's been on the ground for such a long time.
You know, I'm following so many storm chasers, and one that I know very well, I trust their report, says that they have just driven through Winterset. There are cars destroyed, potential gas leak going on in Winterset, and says this damage is significant. So I'm concerned for that, and I cannot stress enough, this is coming into Norwalk right now. And yes, I agree with you, Brad. This is a bit more concerning, not because of how many that we had in December, but because of the strength of this single cell.
Yeah, and we were so fortunate, I think, in December because they did miss most areas. We had very little damage compared to maybe tonight with the one tornado that's going to cause some catastrophic damage perhaps in some areas. So a very bad situation between Churchville and the Cumming area heading toward Norwalk. Seek shelter immediately. Tornado on the ground, large tornado on the ground heading toward Norwalk and moving off to the northeast. It'll be in Norwalk within 10 minutes or so.
All right. I cannot stress enough, if you are in the area of this tornado warning, we are bringing you coverage in so many different ways. Live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, weareiowa.com, the We Are Iowa app. I want you to let people know how to get this information. You can text the word weather to 515-457-1026. Again, 515-457-1026. We will stay on the air with this until there is no longer a threat. But right now there is a very serious threat approaching the south side of the Des Moines metro. And this storm is moving right into Norwalk.
It is. And then if it continues on that way, it's going to go toward the Pleasantville area, as you can see here. So it's pretty amazing how bad this is because it went through Winterset. Now it's passing through the Norwalk area, and it looks like it'll continue toward the Pleasant Hill area if it continues with enough energy. And so far, it has no reason to slow down right now. It's in a sweet spot for the atmosphere, and it's just really, really churning away. So take shelter immediately in these areas and plan accordingly, even past Pleasant Hill if it continues. Now, I know it should start to weaken as we go through the night, but right now it is still a very powerful storm. You can see how it's approaching Norwalk right now, just coming into the west side of Norwalk. It's going to continue off to the northeast at about 40-45 miles per hour, and it's heading toward Pleasant Hill. So the whole south side of the metro is impacted by this, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. The National Weather Service just put out a new update. There is a new tornado warning that has been issued in southern Iowa for radar indicators.
Have to wait till our mics come back on.
Okay,
we're back. Sorry about that, folks. We took a power hit here. Our mics went off for a little bit, but we're back on, and hopefully we'll stay on. We have no reason to leave the studio here. We don't feel threatened at all here in West Des Moines, so we're going to continue to broadcast here as this moves into the metro. But Brandon, you might want to reiterate what you were saying earlier.
I was just saying that the National Weather Service has put out a new update for the storm moving towards Norwalk. Considerable damage is possible. Hail nearly 2 inches in diameter. That is a very nasty supercell. Carlisle and Pleasant Hill are also in the path of this, and the south side of Des Moines. And then what I was going to mention, Brad, is a new tornado warning will be issued here for radar indicated rotation to the south. It will include Lucas, Decatur, and Wayne County. That has not been issued yet, but there's already a severe thunderstorm warning there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll watch this storm down to the south, and that doesn't surprise me that that would be issued down there. But this one, you can still see the hook nature of it, and that little tail there. It's kind of like the tail of a dragon. That's where the tornado is located, passing up into Norwalk here. So coming right into the Norwalk area. You folks seek shelter, or rather stay in your shelter. You should already be there. Maybe you've got a TV in the basement, or you're watching on a laptop. You can find us on weareiowa.com. If you have to leave your television,
yeah,
you can use your phone as well. I mean, there's so many ways to get information.
Right. Yeah, or the old trick, I'm coming over to the video wall, by the way, for my team upstairs. The old trick is turn the volume up really loud on your TV just to hear it wherever you are. So let's take a look at what we've got here. A bigger picture of this storm. This is where the tornado is right now, coming into Norwalk. This is our southernmost suburbs of the Des Moines metro. It includes Norwalk. Torrential rain coming down and coming. This is also approaching Carlisle, the south side of Des Moines. So we're talking if you live on Army Post Road, Southeast 14th, Southwest 9th, if you're near the Blank Park Zoo, or you are near South Ridge Mall, if you are near the Des Moines International Airport, this is moving towards you. See this right here, what's labeled as 69, that's southeast 14th. So it will be crossing that and then eventually approaching the Avon area. Highway 65, it's going to cross over the Des Moines River and head up towards Pleasant Hill. And that is, I feel very confident in saying that because it is not taking a break from its path. We also are keeping an eye, I promise, on those storms to the south. And I don't see the tornado warning yet, but we have reason to believe that there is.
Yeah, there's going to be a tornado warning issued for this one to the south. We'll keep an eye on that, but this one has a tornado with it. It's been on the ground before winter set, and we have no reason to believe that it's still not on the ground. Passing through Norwalk as we speak. Brandon, let me stop that loop just real quick here. But this is a dangerous storm, and the most we've seen in a long time.
Yeah. To have a tornado confirmed on the ground. We've had no reports that this has lifted. We know it caused considerable damage in Winterset, which we will be checking out later on. But this is right over Norwalk right now. It's headed right over the Des Moines International Airport. Not seeing a whole lot that is popping up here on the debris.
Not really, no.
Although you could kind of argue that right there on Highway 28, that
it could
little
be
blue
bit,
area.
And it kind of lines up. This is our velocity. You can see it there, and it's coming right into the Norwalk area. Again, it might lag a little bit behind, but it is definitely coming into the Norwalk area. The stronger velocities there down to the southwest of Norwalk.
Right here, where we have these bright reds and bright greens. And we know the radar's probably a moment or two behind just on the nature of how Doppler radar works. So I imagine it's right there in town, and it'll be approaching the Highway 5 area here very, very soon, if it's not already there.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably there right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save this. So we are watching it. It's heading toward Pleasant Hill as well. So again, for the Des Moines area and Clive, there is this other thunderstorm back to the west that's producing possibly some hail and some wind. So far, we don't have any rotation with that, but we'll keep an eye on that. But this one is the one going through Norwalk, south side of the metro, heading toward Pleasant Hill. So these are two fairly large communities. And we saw that we've had extreme damage already in Winterset. And,
so this is Southeast 14th Street right here. I'm trying to give you some perspective. If you live on the south side of Des Moines, south of I-235, anywhere between Windsor Heights and, say, Highway 65, we're talking communities that are near Easter Lake, near Southridge Mall, near Lincoln High School, near the Des Moines International Airport, of course, the Army Post Road area, communities near the Blank Park Zoo and Blank Park Golf Course. If you live in any of those areas that I've mentioned, this is headed in your direction. And Pleasant Hill, by the way, it's coming there too.
Firefighter confirms now, Brandon, that the tornado is on the ground in Norwalk.
Okay.
So there it is. It's on the ground in Norwalk, coming through Norwalk right now. Godspeed to everyone there. Dangerous situation. Stay in your safe place till the storm passes. It has already produced quite a bit of damage, and it's just a bad night.
It is, and we have to believe that it is probably producing some damage in Norwalk as well, because it did in Winterset, and we have that report from the fire department there. I cannot stress enough. I know it is a Saturday evening, and there are a lot of events going on around town. We've got girls' state basketball going on at Wells Fargo Arena. If you are listening to us and you are at a community event, I'm sorry, you got to pause the event. You've got to have shelter because this is extremely serious. Please, please, please heed this guidance. Do not be irresponsible and continue the event as if nothing's going on. I know it's not fun. I know the timing isn't great. The timing is never great for these kinds of things, but we've got to take this seriously.
Yeah, and not every situation is the same.
New warning.
Yeah, new warning. This is the most serious situation, or one of the most serious situations I've seen here at Local 5, with a large tornado on the ground passing through the south side of the metro, already hitting Winterset, and already now moving through Norwalk. So two communities have been impacted by this one wedge tornado, and it is still going as far as we know, and it's going to be heading up toward the Pleasant Hill area as well, or yes, Pleasant Hill area. So hopefully it passes south of that. I think there is more of a trajectory there to pass south of Pleasant Hill, so that would be good. Let's put this into motion. You can see better maybe what we're talking about as I put this loop on. Let's see, there we go. So we have two storms actually impacting the metro. The one out to the west is mostly for hail and maybe some wind. This is our tornadic storm here passing through Norwalk now, and probably it's going to go just south of Pleasant Hill. It might be closer to Carlisle. It may be turning more to the right a little bit, so it may be between Pleasant Hill and Carlisle, and maybe on the north side of Carlisle here in the next 10 or 15 minutes. So everybody there in the southern part of Polk County, take shelter immediately. Again, this is a very, very dangerous situation moving into your area, and it is passing right now around Highway 5 right now. It looks like I'm going to stop that loop for you and show you that. So the storm itself passing through Highway 5. We've still got, let me rotate that just a little bit. So this system, again, the tornado likely to be embedded in this system right here. Yeah, Brandon?
I don't want to detract from the metro storm, but they have issued that tornado warning in southern Iowa, and that includes parts of Decatur, Wayne, and Lucas County, and they have said that the Decatur County storm is picking up steam and picking up some rotation there, so we've got to watch that one too.
Yep, in the Leon area, you folks there and heading up towards Sheraton, the Humiston area, all in the path of this next storm that is starting to get stronger and could produce a tornado. Right now it's a radar indicated rotation. We'll keep an eye on that one as well. But right now, this storm we do know has a tornado. It's still producing that tornado in this area. Let me put the velocity scope back on that, and you can see that bright right in this area right here. Oh, we got. Are we back? We're back. Okay. So we're back. We're taking power hits here, and our mics keep getting knocked off. But you can see that rotation there, and the radar showing it very strongly there, just to the east of Norwalk. So the storm did pass over the Norwalk area, and it's still moving, still producing a tornado with the inbound and the outbound winds in that area. Let's go back to the velocity on that. That's not going to work for me. I got to go closer now.
I'm told that play is continuing at Wells Fargo Arena. Quite honestly, I feel like that's a mistake.
Yeah, it is south of them, but why not be safe rather than sorry?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you could pause a game for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Let me save this so I have that in the bank. But yeah, you can see again that strong rotation just to the east of Norwalk, and I can show you this again. So right here we got inbounds, and there we got outbounds, and that is where the rotation is right now. And it'll be passing, it looks like to the north of the Scott Ridge area. Let's go back to the radar here. So I'm kind of multitasking. So this is the storm, and there's the travel. You can see it probably going to go north of Carlisle and probably south of Pleasant Hill. Again, the Des Moines area, not in danger of a tornado at this moment, but there is still severe weather potential for the Des Moines area, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. Still large hail, likely damaging winds, and I will pop over to the video wall here in just a moment so we can kind of take a closer look. I am a big fan of calling out the next towns and communities in the path of this. Pleasant Hill, Carlisle, you need to be in that safe place now, as well as in Altoona. This may stay just to the south of Altoona, but we've got to take it very seriously.
They say it's rain-wrapped, by the way, Brandon. Sorry to interrupt, but large rain-wrapped tornadoes still in that area.
And this warning now, by the way, we've said does extend into Jasper County. It includes areas to the south and to the west of Newton. It includes Mitchellville, and to the north of Monroe. We're looking at communities that are close to Colfax, close to Mingo, that we have to watch this very carefully. And again, passing right towards Highway 65 now, right where 65 and Highway 5 meet, the Easter Lake area. You've got to be in the safe place. And I do want to check in on that southern Iowa storm, because as I was just over at my laptop, I was looking, the rotation was quite a bit stronger and is increasing in the Humiston area. So this is a tornado warning, and I promise we're trying to get to everybody here. There is the rotation just to the north and to the west of High Point, northeast of Leon. That is approaching Humiston. If you're in Wayne County and you're in the Humiston area, if you are in Sheraton at this point, you need to be watching this too. But Humiston needs to be in a safe place now.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot going on out there for sure. Let's see if we can go back to this radar here. So there's the big picture. I'm going to go grab a water, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there is a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So we've got a couple of cells here in the Des Moines Metro, a couple of cells down to the south. We are now at 5:17. We've been on the air for about an hour and a half. Did we lose our mics again?
We're still on.
Okay, here we are. We are taking little power bumps here at the station in West Des Moines, so we are occasionally losing our microphones, but thankfully they're coming back. This is the big storm that has produced damage in Winterset. I hope has not produced damage in Norwalk. We haven't had any reports yet, but it is just moments past there, so it's possible.
Avon and Carlisle.
Yeah, Carlisle, absolutely. Pleasant Hill, this is probably going to be just south of you, but very, very close for comfort. And this is going to be approaching 163. So right here where I'm looking at in Pleasant Hill is where we would have Southeast Polk High School, and then it turns a bit more rural, heading towards the Polk County Sanitation Facility in Mitchellville. Highway 163, as you were coming into Des Moines, this is essentially the extension of University Avenue. You need to be in that safe place. Now, we've also got the large hail.
Yeah, so I was going to say Pleasant Hill could probably get hit by the hail on the northern side of where the tornado is.
Yeah. And that is something that we've watched. There has been reported damage from the hail here several times today already, especially down in the Orient area. And where we see these darker reflectivity values, reflectivity, a fancy word for all the colors we're seeing, that could be hail. It could be very, very heavy rain.
All right, we are back.
There we go.
Yeah, our mic's getting knocked off with our power hits that we're taking here with the storms. We're talking about the heavy, the large hail potential there coming into Pleasant Hill. The tornado is still coming into the Avon area and heading up generally toward the direction of Carlisle or north of Carlisle. So you folks, very, very dangerous situation in the Carlisle area and probably Runnels as well. And if it tracks a little further north, it would be just on the east side between Altoona and Carlisle. But I do believe the tornado is still going to be more in the Carlisle-Runnels area. It's trying to stay further south and not move as much to the north, but still a very dangerous situation. Back to the west in Waukee, severe thunderstorm warning there. You might have some hail, but it doesn't look quite as bad. Further south, that tornado warning does continue in this area. We've got a confirmation, Brandon, right as I went down here in southern Iowa. Let's see what that says. If the observed considerable
north of Leon.
Yeah. So confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado 8 miles northeast of Leon, moving northeast at 45. So again, this area in the High Point area, Garden Grove area, and it's moving in your direction out there. So let's get a closer look at this with the velocity scope. And you can see that area right there. It's coming into Garden Grove right now. That's our strong rotation. And yeah. So it is moving off to the northeast toward the Humeston area, and it is moving at 45 miles per hour to the northeast.
There's a lot going on here, Brad, and there will be a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for areas to the north and to the east of Ames for hail. So just a heads up there. It looks like we have had from a spotter, there has been some damage reported in Norwalk, apparent damage to several homes and structures just south of Highway G24 and R57 in Norwalk.
Okay. So we've got two tornadoes on the ground right now, and so in the Humeston area and also to the north, we have this still a tornado in this area, and this is south of Pleasant Hill. So again, the Avon area under attack right now with this storm. Moving off to the northeast and heading into the eastern or southeastern portion of Polk County and eventually toward Colfax, Prairie City areas.
Yeah, this is still a confirmed tornado. We have reason to believe that, and we are looking at this headed into the far eastern side now of Polk County. It'll be moving into western Jasper County. So Colfax, Prairie City, right along Highway 163. That is the area I'm watching most closely, and I will step over here to the video wall in just a moment and show you. But again, that 163 area, and it looks like now we've got two tornado warnings
Yeah,
in
it's a
southern
separate.
Iowa.
Yeah, one was confirmed, and that one, of course, was in the Garden Grove area. That's where that confirmation heading to the Humiston area, and then down here toward Morgan in southern Iowa. That one also a new tornado warning here.
Yes, and that'll be headed towards Corydon, Clio, and Seymour. So that includes essentially the northern part of Wayne County and the southern part of Wayne County. And then we have, of course, the confirmed tornado that is still moving into the Jasper. It'll be approaching Jasper County here soon. This one just has that awful looking hook still on it.
It really
We
does.
had damage reported in Norwalk, significant damage in Winterset, and now we have reason to believe that there is still a tornado on the ground moving right to Highway 163. Again, this is just to the east of Southeast Polk High School. And it looks like Mitchellville, this will probably stay just to the south of you, but it'll approach the Prairie City area if you're along Highway 163 or 117.
Yeah, that is a very dangerous storm. It still looks very, very healthy. Unfortunately, it is not losing a beat right now. So take shelter in these areas that we're telling you about. This is a dangerous, dangerous situation, folks, as it moves off to the northeast and continues to be a problem. Now, further out down to the south, we have that other tornado warning that is still coming toward the Humiston area, coming out of Garden Grove, and that one is also moving off to the northeast. So once these pass our area, the tornado threat's over, but there's that second line developing. We're not as concerned about that in the Waukee area. I know you're getting some storms, but the severity is not even close to what we're dealing with these tornadoes.
Brad, we've got video, I believe, of the tornado in the Norwalk area that comes from Jeremy Roth, and I'm over here looking at that video right now. See if we can get the outside. Yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think there were multiple vortices, so
Sure.
That's probably one of the vortices, and you can see it kind of dancing around. There may be multiple ones.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, at one point we had a large wedge, and sometimes they break up into smaller pieces or vortices. So I think that's what we're seeing there.
And there was damage in Norwalk, so
Yeah.
we will have a crew headed that way as well once it's clear.
Boy, this is just a bad-looking storm. I was still looking at radar, just kind of in awe a little bit of how well organized it is. If we can go back to the radar here, thank you, Carly. This is still such a powerful storm on the radar. I don't know if we've got more video to show, but yeah, we've seen that. Let's go back to the radar if we can and show that powerful storm again. This is just an amazing, amazing storm heading toward the Ivy area. It's going to be crossing 163 and heading toward Prairie City, Colfax. So again, you are in the path of this storm. South of Mitchellville, you're in the path of this storm. Altoona, you are getting some heavy rain and maybe some hail at this moment. The tornado is to your south, and it continues to move off to the northeast with that as well. We can take a look at the radar scope again. You can see those areas where the greens and the reds are close together there, and that is basically southeast of Pleasant Hill, moving off to the northeast. And very, very dangerous storm, and it's one of a couple or several dangerous storms out there right now, Brandon.
Yeah, it is. This has been a very, very wild day, to say the least. The time now 5:25. We are going to have crews going to Winterset and to Norwalk here soon, but this tornado is still very much on the ground. And let's see. Brad, the Des Moines Weather Reporting Station, which is the airport,
Yes.
has reported a tornado, which, according to our great friend Daryl, is only the third time on record that has happened.
Wow.
So it was close enough to the airport that it picked it up.
Picked it up. Okay. Well, there you go. You can see we have the south side here with possible two at least. One is confirmed right now. Let's pause that and show you again. It's easier. This one's easier to see with the velocity scope on. It was in the Humiston area. You can still see that area where the reds and greens are just entering Humiston. So that is an area to watch as well. A little harder to see, but around the Lineville area, you can see the brighter greens and the darker greens. And that is an area that we have some rotation there as well. So two pockets of rotation, two possible tornadoes. They did just extend that, Brandon, towards Sheraton. So the tornado warning extended towards Sheraton right now. It may be close to Sheraton or may pass south of you, but you are in that warning right now, Sheraton. Let me get back to the northern storm here. But we are just very, very, very serious about the situation tonight, folks, and we've been, getting more serious about it with each passing minute, it seems like, because we've had damage in Winterset, we've had damage in Norwalk, and we're still seeing the possible tornado on the ground heading into this area. Now, we haven't seen much on the, I'll look for the debris again to see if we see much on that. It is harder to pick up, but there may be a little bit in there, but toward the Hasty area.
Yeah. Checking that out. I do want to hop over and show another picture because the pictures really tell us what's going on. This is significant tornado damage just south of Norwalk on Highway 28. We can see power lines down, trees that are damaged. It looks like maybe some cars that were affected. This is from Tom Purdy. And like I said, we'll have crews going that way as well. We currently have, correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, 3 active tornado warnings right now.
We do. The Humiston one just got a report in west of Humiston. It is on the ground, so it is passing through the Humiston area. So that is a confirmed tornado passing through the Humiston area.
Yeah,
Humiston.
That's moving right there through Wayne County. It just crossed Highway 65. It's approaching Highway 14. It is currently south of Sheraton, but this is also very much likely rain-wrapped, and it's moving towards Russell. It's moving towards Sheraton, Highway 34 there in Lucas County. And then there is this secondary tornado warning down to the south that is now the area of inflow just to the north of Clio, or just right there by Clio. And that is essentially on the Iowa-Missouri border. And that'll be approaching Corydon, coming towards Highway 2. So we're way down in southern Iowa for this as well. So we want to make sure that everybody feels like they're getting the information. And then, of course, this behemoth supercell that we have been tracking that is now moving into the far eastern reaches of Polk County, the far northeastern part of Warren County, and it'll be moving into Jasper here very soon.
There's actually a warning further to the north now coming out of the Ames area. It looks like that one producing maybe some wind and some hail potential heading into Zeering. But again, you folks just take heed of that. Basically, you should probably be in your basement anywhere in central Iowa right now.
Better safe than sorry, right?
Yep.
I-80, this is really approaching Prairie City and Colfax. So this is going to pass just to the south of Mitchellville, it looks like, but very close along Highway 163, approaching Highway 117. This is going to go right between Prairie City and Colfax. We're still seeing that rotation popping up there on the velocity.
Yeah, and it's had multiple vortices. For a while it had a wedge, and then it kind of broke up a little bit, but it's still a very powerful, very dangerous storm in that area for sure. And the shear kind of gives you a better idea of, just kind of cleans it up for everybody and shows you where that strongest rotation is south of Ivy. It'll be passing over 163 and heading off toward Prairie City. So you folks in Prairie City and maybe between Prairie City and Colfax, it may go right between them.
Right there on 117 is where that's going to head. And eventually this will be tracking up towards I-80. And if it holds, it'll be headed towards Newton. And Brad, if we want to zoom out for a minute, did I just see an additional tornado? Okay, no, maybe I didn't. I thought maybe there was another tornado warning that popped up, and I just wanted to be sure. Of course, we've got this.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, there's this, the one in Humiston. Yeah, Humiston is has been confirmed. That's why when you see the magenta color on our radar map, that means it's a confirmed tornado. The red means it's the expected or believed to be a tornado, and that's the case in far southern Iowa there, and that could be affecting Corydon, again, another larger city there. Sheraton, you are in the path of this storm right now, so you seek shelter. That is a confirmed tornado, again, heading out of Humiston toward the Sheraton area.
Yeah. Right there on Highway 34 and Highway 14. I do want to point out that if you're in Waukee or West Des Moines or Johnston, you're getting a lot of heavy rainfall. There is a severe thunderstorm warning there. That could be producing some wind or maybe some small hail, but that is not the tornado warned storm. And accordingly, I do not hear the sirens in West Des Moines anymore.
Yes.
But this is the one that has had history of producing damage in Winterset, in Norwalk, south of Norwalk. It is now over Highway 163, technically still in Polk County, but it's right about to cross into the Jasper County line. The tornado warning includes Prairie City, Colfax, and Mingo. Currently, this looks like the rotation or where that tornado is on the ground will stay to the south of I-80 for the moment, approaching Colfax and Prairie City. but we're seeing it, it's been cycling. We've been talking about how there's been different mesovortices. We're seeing a pretty well-pronounced velocity signature there as well.
Yeah, crossing 163. We've got reports from the Mid-American folks that 6,600 people right now have no power. So that's going to be a problem moving forward, too, for some people in probably Winterset and also Norwalk.
Yeah, and if you know people who have lost power, you can, of course, direct them, by the way, to our live stream that is on weareiowa.com, the We Are Iowa app. It is on Facebook. It is on YouTube. Yeah. They can text the word weather to 515-457-1026. Again, that's 515-457-1026, and that has popped up on your screen now.
Yep.
And with power out, it's about to get very cold tonight as well. So that's another issue that we will have to face. But of course, we are here. We've been on the air for about 2 hours now and are still going to stick with this as long as we've got a tornado threat.
Okay, I guess that was the Metro. The Des Moines Metro has 6,600 without power, so that's just in the Metro alone. So we are looking at the storm to the north. I wanted to look at this real quick. Winds, it's moving northeast at 55. It mostly is a wind maker, winds of 60 miles per hour. So that's heading through the Zeering area, Eldora, coming out of Ames, but no threat of tornadoes with that. The tornado threat remains in southern Iowa here from this storm, which passed through the south side of the Metro, Norwalk, and now is heading toward generally Colfax, Prairie City area, and it may go right between those communities right now. So I'll put a little loop on that. You can see which way it is moving, but generally they're all moving off to the northeast. The further north it goes, the less favorable the environment, but it is still holding together here as it passes off to the northeast. So we got some very heavy rain coming down here in West.
Sounds like some hail too.
A little bit of hail coming down in West Des Moines at our studios, but we don't have any threats here, so we'll continue to broadcast. No problem for that.
One beneficial sign, and this is just helping, is the airport observation is starting to drop the temperature and the wind is starting to shift. That will give us good indication that the cooler air will be moving in soon. And as the cooler air moves in, that will help diminish our storm threat. I'm going to talk a little louder in case you hear the heavy rain or the hail over our microphones.
You really can. This is about as heavy as I've heard it in a long time.
Yeah.
But we do have the 2 tornadoes confirmed, and I'm going to stop this loop for a moment here. And again, this is passing through the Humiston area and heading off towards Sheraton, generally speaking, heading in that direction. And not too far from the Derby area, actually, is where that rotation is. So it looks like it went just south of Derby, heading to Sheraton. It's a strong rotation, Brandon. I'm looking at it right now, and it's a very strong, pronounced rotation. It's probably, we had a confirmation of a large tornado. I think it's a large tornado coming towards Sheraton, or at least the south side of Sheraton.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is a very serious situation. I know we focused a lot on our heavily populated areas near the metro, but we don't want to leave out Derby and areas north of Humiston. And I am going to show you, we should actually probably put a track on this one and show how it's headed to Highway 14, Sheraton, Russell. And now you can probably hear me a little bit better because that rain and hail has finally come to an end.
Let me get back to my computer here where I can get that shot. So it is moving about 45 miles per hour like the rest of these, and you can see it right there. So again, I wish our
was shorter,
a shorter time period, but it's generally heading in this direction here.
To give some heads up to folks, that's kind of the purpose of doing this. 6:08 in Sheraton, 6:26 in Williamson, 6:43 in Belinda, and 7:15 in the town or the community of Indiana. Basically, what we want to do is show that if you are in Monroe County, if you are in Appanoose County, if you are in Mahaska County, this is going to be coming your way, as the National Weather Service has just said, and as we have been saying all afternoon. There is not a lot to stop these. The environment has become fairly favorable, and so if you are in Mahaska County, Oskaloosa, and the same thing for this supercell as well. All of Jasper County needs to be watching this extremely closely, and that storm is bearing down now on Colfax. It's really going to go right there to the south of Colfax along Highway 117. And eventually it'll cross over I-80.
Yeah, so we've got some very strong signatures. That one continues to be very strong, and I'm looking at it. It is just south of Mitchellville, probably just a few miles south of Mitchellville, heading toward the south side of Colfax.
Yeah.
Probably will go north of Prairie City, it looks like.
Yeah, so we will need to check out for any potential damage that occurred in the Mitchellville area. That is just to the east of Southeast Polk High School. And I'm thinking about where the Polk County, I don't know the proper term for it, where the dump is there on Highway 163, where the sanitation facility is. That is probably where that passed through and is headed right toward Highway 117, the Colfax area, and it will cross over I-80 here very soon. Newton, we haven't talked about you much yet, but Newton needs to go ahead and be in a safe place as well. And north of Newton, the Baxter community, and anywhere in central or northern Jasper County, we will have to watch this should it cross into parts of Marshall County in a little while.
Yeah, definitely Newton. That's a good call there, because we want to alert you folks. It is moving about 45 miles per hour. Let me check different storms, different speeds, but very strong tornadic signature, Brandon, still with that one that's coming into Jasper County, and the warning, it was moving at 45. So 45 miles per hour, and you can see this one especially still has a very strong TVS, a tornadic vortex signature, and it is a very dangerous storm. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. You folks in Colfax and heading into Jasper County, it is coming your way. And there's a big jump right there. Maybe it's picking up speed.
Yeah, maybe picking up speed, and it's approaching. I mean, it's in Colfax right now, and that is a more pronounced velocity signature. These white and bright red colors pairing with the green, that is a signature that screams out to us on velocity and shows us we've had an observed tornado. I still believe there's probably a tornado on the ground there.
It's either one large tornado or several vortices possible. Yeah. So very dangerous situation. You folks in Colfax, anywhere around there and south of Colfax. It may pass just north of Prairie City, but be safe, especially on the north side of Prairie City. Seek shelter. Stay in your shelter until the storm passes here. And the Des Moines area getting clear from the tornadic threat, Brandon. We still have some heavy rain potential, maybe some hail, but that tornadic threat moving eastward with these storms.
And that makes sense. As I was saying at the airport, that temperature is starting to drop. The wind is shifting to the northeast, and that will cool things down. It'll get cold tonight. And of course, that also means, though, that the potential for severe weather diminishes a little bit. So to kind of give you a picture, it is about 5:40. We've got several warnings. One that is a severe thunderstorm warning well north of the metro that we haven't really talked about, producing likely some wind moving into Hardin County, approaching Grundy County, and heading north of Marshalltown. The big supercell that is going into Jasper County now, approaching I-80. I cannot stress enough, travel along I-80 in Jasper County is extremely dangerous right now. If you are between Mitchellville and Newton, you should not be on the road, as at the very least there is torrential rain, likely hail coming down, and also a tornado on the ground. And then we have those 2 tornado warnings down in southern Iowa still.
And what we're seeing with this big ball of red is a rain-wrapped tornado, essentially. So that tornado is in the middle of that, basically. Impossible to see. That's probably why we're not getting very many spotter reports. Plus, it's starting to probably get darker out there. But a very hard tornado to see as of late, and it continues to move through Mitchellville, through Colfax, and I expect you folks in Newton, you'll see a warning issued soon. I'm surprised it hasn't been issued yet, but they still have to issue another tornado warning for this. It has not weakened enough to call it quits yet. I'm looking at it. It's still a fairly strong signature. Maybe, I wouldn't bet on it, but maybe it will weaken. But right now it is a very, very dangerous storm heading toward the Colfax area and also possibly north of Newton or near Newton in the next 30 minutes or so. So be careful of that storm there. We've got several storms out there. 2 are confirmed tornadoes. This one continues to be confirmed heading up into the Sheraton area. Let's go back to that one for a second here as I pause this loop and zoom in for a closer look. And this one really shows up on the velocity scope there. You can see it there, that area with the brighter whites and then the reds. That's basically coming toward the radar and away from the radar southwest of Sheraton. So that's the rotation, and that is heading right into Sheraton or south of Sheraton over the next 10 minutes or so. So you folks in Sheraton, you are in the tornado warning, and you are in the path of this tornado, and it may just pass to your south depending on the actual trajectory of that. But let's see if I can loop that while it's got that on there, so you can see it coming into the situation there. Probably will stay south of Sheraton, but still take shelter and stay in your safe place in the southern portion the southern portion of Lucas County for sure, with that tornado warning. So a lot going on right now. We have a new tornado warning, includes the Newton area as expected. So you folks in Newton, you are in the path of that other potential very dangerous situation. Let's get this centered up a little bit better. And you can see that. I'm trying to run the controls of this radar for you. Looking at this storm, again, this is the one that has produced a large tornado, multiple vortices. Take shelter immediately in Newton and Kellogg and all of these areas, just passing north of Prairie City right now. Very dangerous storm with the potential for more damage and more injuries. Let's say we haven't had any reports yet. I hope we go the whole night and not have one injury. That would just be great.
That would be remarkable.
That would make my night, actually. So very, very dangerous situation, folks. You can see the tornado warnings remain in many areas out there. As I zoom back out, we've got several thunderstorms developing through southern Iowa, so it's really not even done in those areas yet. There's the loop for you. And there's still a thunderstorm up toward Marshalltown. Not a real concern, but the one in the Sheraton area and the one heading toward Newton are the two big storms out there that we're most concerned about right now. Let me hit the pause button on this for a second. I want to go into Sheraton real quick. You folks in Sheraton, you are in the path here. I'm just going to get the velocity scope on this because I do believe it's getting close to your area. As I said, it may pass just to your south, but that's the rotation right there. And it's between Derby and Sheraton. I think it'll pass just south of the Sheraton area. So again, stay in your shelter. Keep reiterating that. Let's see what we got here. If we go back, clear that screen. So I'm going to go over to the video wall just to give a wide angle view here. Set up the situation again. So we've got multiple situations going on. Two tornadoes on the ground right now. One heading toward the Newton area, one passing south of Sheraton right now. So you can see this one right here coming over I-80. Hopefully, maybe the Highway Department of Transportation or the Highway Patrol can shut down traffic on I-80 or something, because just not safe to travel when there's a tornado here, and people driving may have no clue there's a tornado. So that's a very dangerous situation. Crossing through I-80, heading toward Newton, you're in the path of that tornado, and then down here again to the south, we've got two tornado warnings, Brandon. It is a very, very dangerous night out there tonight.
Absolutely. So I'm just coordinating with some of our teams to try to figure out where we're going to send crews. I do want to zoom in on the Sheraton storm.
Yes. So this is Colfax. It's coming toward the Newton area. We have this one down to the south, and again, it looked like on my velocity scope, Brandon, that was going to pass just to the south.
It's very close, though.
Yeah, it's very close. It's going to be coming into Sheraton or the south side of Sheraton in that area.
It's moving right up to...
There we go. I finally got an update. So there it is.
That's the south side of Sheraton.
Yep.
It's Highway 14 where it meets Highway 34. If you are in Lucas County, you've got to be in that safe place right now. I know we're kind of bouncing around trying to keep track of all the different tornado warnings, but just the same as there is no travel that should be on I-80, there should absolutely be no travel on Highway 34 either, from Sheraton all the way to Albia. Honestly, there should be no travel. This is going to continue moving northeast. The pink here representing that this is a confirmed tornado on the ground as well. Just on the south side of Sheraton, I hope we do not have damage in the Sheraton area, but it's quite possible that we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Brandon,
and also for what was in Humiston.
We have Lieutenant Rick Thomas on the line.
Okay.
Rick, can you hear me?
Yes.
What can you tell us? Where are you at, and what have you seen tonight?
I'm on the south side of Des Moines. We had the significant hail and winds over here, torrential downpours, but we've only been called out on one call with wires down. and we haven't had any flooding issues where we've had to go out. But we had a structure fire that crews had difficulty getting to because of wires down, but there was no fire when they got there. So it really hasn't been too bad so far.
So that's always a concern, I guess, when power lines go down, that fires will be started, I guess. That's pretty normal then?
Yeah, it's not necessarily that fires would be started, but they'd be arcing and it'd be a dangerous situation if anybody's around them. So crews will usually go out and sit on those until Mid-American can get there.
I gotcha. Okay, well, thank you for your report out there. Anything else you want to tell us about?
Not at this time. It hasn't been too bad considering what type of weather situation we've been having.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your time, and stay safe out there tonight.
You too. Thank you. All
right. So let's go back. That radar, Brandon, still very active, and we are very, very concerned about Newton. It is heading your way. This is the powerful tornado that's already caused damage in 2 locations, Winterset and Norwalk.
And Colfax. Yeah, I just saw it. Not as, from the picture that I'm seeing, it looks more like debris in Colfax versus significant damage, but there has been something there as well.
Let me see if I can see that debris ball on there again, but yeah, I mean, we're seeing some brighter colors in there, or some different colors in there, but yeah, it's really hard to see. Okay, so let's go back to the radar here. Brandon, we still have 2 tornadoes on the ground right now. That one down in the Corridor area, it was a strong circulation, but no confirmation yet.
Yeah, and that, by the way, some of those tornado warnings have been extended now to include portions of Monroe and Appanoose County. And then, of course, we've got the one that is now over all of Jasper County. That is the one that is really, to me, at the moment, most concerning, because that's going to move into the Newton area very soon. We know Newton was hit really hard by the August 2020 derecho. They had significant damage there. Newton has had a history of damage, and it looks like they are going to be dealing with a tornado on the ground here as well. And again, I'm seeing a lot of people who are talking about the tornado that was in the Sheraton area as well.
So to reiterate, there's tornado video from Steve coming in, Brandon.
Okay.
So maybe from Norwalk.
Okay, so this is in the Norwalk area. Okay, let's go back to the radar because I don't see a whole lot in that video. It's kind of behind the tree.
There's a little bit. See a little bit, yeah. Like a vortice again.
But I think it's very critical that we are on the radar right now, showing what is moving into Jasper, central Jasper County. It's been in Jasper County for a while, and this is approaching Newton. There's the velocity.
Yeah. It looked like it probably went south side of Colfax, and now it's going to be passing I-80. And heading right into the Newton area. I think Newton's going to take a direct hit. We hope this thing lifts up off the ground, but we have no reason to believe that. So you folks in Newton, you are in the path of this tornado. It's been a destructive tornado. At times it's been a large tornado, and it is heading toward Newton right now. So take shelter immediately if you haven't already. You can continue to monitor the weather. Brandon said you could turn your television up loud, or you could bring your phone with you and get us on weareiowa.com, or download the app. If you don't have time for the app, that's not a problem either. We are streaming on Facebook as well.
Absolutely. YouTube, we are everywhere with the information that you need to know. And here in about 10 minutes, you would normally see the 6 p.m. Local 5 newscast. I don't think we're going to be doing that one, and it looks like we will be tracking this right through the heart of Newton. And then I also want to stress there was a cone tornado reported down in the Sheraton area, just to the south of Sheraton. So we have 2 tornadoes that we are watching, one that has now just passed to the south of Sheraton and is moving. It is probably just to the south and to the east of Sheraton. It's going to cross right to the north of Russell and pass over Highway 34 right there in Lucas County. And then, of course, we know that there has been some damage reported in the Colfax area as well. And we know that that is approaching Newton. If you are in Marion County, by the way, if you are in, say, Knoxville or Pella, it looks like aside from some heavy rain, these are probably going to pass you to the north and to the south. And we're getting a view there of our sky cam over downtown Des Moines. Some pretty prolific lightning right now, but nothing severe.
And to piggyback what you're saying, Brandon, the Des Moines area, There's no severe weather. We're not expecting any severe weather. There is heavy rain falling in parts of Des Moines right now.
Yeah.
You can see that coming down. We experience that here in West Des Moines. So there's no worries right now in West Des Moines. But don't travel out there because of the heavy rain. It's still going to be a dangerous situation. But no severe weather expected in the Des Moines area. It is all to the east now, heading into Newton. You folks are definitely under the gun with this potential very dangerous situation.
This is a supercell thunderstorm that honestly we've been tracking since Adams County. It has not stopped. There is still quite a bit of a signature popping up there on the velocity approaching I-80. I cannot stress enough, no one needs to be on I-80 in Jasper County. This will be moving into Newton, and I'm very worried that we will have some damage in this area as well. So if you are not in your safe place now, you have to be there now. I don't normally talk like that, but it is a very serious situation. It's going to pass over I-80 and head right into Newton, and there are many folks that are in the path of this, and we've also got to watch it from Kellogg areas to the north, and now we're seeing that inflow essentially approaching Newton as we speak.
Yeah, you folks in Newton, this is a serious situation. We have more reports south of Colfax, I believe, a picture of some damage again. Sent in, tweeted there.
This is my friend Nathan, who is a meteorologist over in Cedar Rapids. He has been chasing in this area and is showing the damage there. He says the houses look okay, but this is Highway 117 just to the south of Colfax, and this is what is now moving into Norwalk.
Okay. I'm going to continue to watch this one to the south, Brandon. Still some good rotation. Again, it's passed through the south of Sheraton. It's north of Russell right now. You can see where those reds and greens are together. The greens going toward the radar, red going away. So that rotation south of Williamson and between Williamson and Russell, and heading off to the northeast up in through, probably toward the Lavilia area.
Yeah, heading towards the Monroe County line. That'll move through northwestern Monroe County. By the way, there will be a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for the Des Moines Metro for 60-mile-per-hour wind and potentially some ping-pong-sized hail.
Okay.
So that cell behind the big cell is strengthening a little bit. So we will have to watch for some heavy wind and hail in the Des Moines area still. And then once that cell passes, I think we will really be in the clear. There's not much developing past that.
Yeah, that'll be past the cold front by then. So we are still monitoring several storms out there, two of which have been producing tornadoes. This one in the Newton area, it is coming in right now, and it has produced a tornado for quite a while. It may not be a continuous tornado track, but it's been a large tornado at times, been a multiple vortice tornado at times, Brandon.
Yeah, very close. So, Brad, why don't we zoom in a little bit more on Newton, because the National Weather Service said especially the western and northwestern sides of Newton, the Lambs Grove area, which I know some folks who follow my Facebook who live in Lambs Grove, please, you've got to be in that safe place. It's coming up right now to the main Newton exit, Highway 6, and it'll be going right through that northwest corner of town. Yeah. And probably passing over the western side of town. Yeah,
western and northern side of Newton, it looks like, and toward definitely close to Lambs Grove right now with that. And there may be multiple areas of vorticity in there, so there may be more than one vortex, and just a real dangerous situation for this area. So stay in your safe place for the next 15, 20 minutes before it clears.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is going to go past Newton, and there will still be more places in the path of this. Poweshiek County that we'll have to watch that. It looks like the tornado warning to the south has been extended, and it includes the northwestern corner of Monroe County and the far southeast tip of Marion County.
Yeah, so heading toward toward Weller and Bucknell, and those areas, you are in this path now of this also confirmed tornado, and we have some very strong signatures from this area as well. So it remains a very dangerous situation down in southern Iowa as well. 2 tornadoes on the ground. We have that other tornado warning south of there, Brandon. We haven't had confirmation there. I'll take a quick look at it right now.
Yeah.
We have a second just to see if the rotation is still there. It is definitely still there. It's between Corydon and the Promise City area.
And there very well could be a tornado there, and maybe all the spotters and chasers are up in different storms.
For sure.
So if you're in Promise City, Mystic, Moravia, you're along Highway 5 there in Wayne County and Appanoose County, you've got to be in a safe place, because even though we haven't really talked much about that one or had visual confirmation on that one, it's very possible. And this is a bit concerning, because should it hold that same path, it'll wind up going onto the western and northwestern sides of Ottumwa in Wapello County.
And there's that warning you were talking about for the Des Moines area. Kind of garden variety type stuff, some hail possible, some wind possible, but no tornado expected from that particular storm.
Right. And right now the tornado is probably ongoing in northwestern Newton and right through central Jasper County, likely passing over Highway 14 on the northwest side of Newton. And we might look at the velocity
let's
here.
Get that up. So let me see what we got. Yeah, so this is our hot spot there. There are other pockets possible, but this is probably it really looks like that is your hot spot right there.
Yeah, it's going to go right to the west of Highway 14 west of town, and hopefully it passes Newton just to the west or to the northwest. We wouldn't want it to take a direct hit, but that will go through the Lambs Grove area, right up Highway 14. And again, the northwestern side of Newton, if you live northwest of there. And then, of course, we also have another confirmed tornado to the south, exiting Lucas County, moving into northwestern Monroe County. This is going to be the Weller area, the Bucknell area, Rexfield, Lavilia, essentially headed towards Highway 5 there as it comes out of Marion County and goes into Monroe County. And I have to stress the Bussey area, this will be headed in your direction if it continues on that same path. Notice this will stay south of Knoxville and it will stay south of Pella, but it will potentially touch the community of Indiana there in southern Marion County.
So the Newton one is still churning. I was just taking a look at some of the more detailed information I have behind the scenes here, and the vortex signature is not as strong, but it's still there. It's on the northwest side of Newton right now, and still producing possibly a tornado. I expect it is, and it's passing to the northwest of Newton, crossing Highway 6, 14, and well, basically 14, where 6 and 14 come together.
So there's also probably quite a bit of hail there.
Yes.
I would imagine, coming down on Highway 14. Yeah. To give you some perspective of who will be next with this storm, this will be headed towards, well, actually, when you pull up the hail tracker, that's not quite as large as I thought it would be.
Yeah, it didn't. It could be an error, but probably maybe hail. That's a good sign, actually. If the large hail is gone, then maybe the strong updraft is leaving it as well.
Well, this is an area out here that did not warm up nearly as much today. So it's got to be entering a colder environment soon. Yeah. And the sun is setting.
Yep.
And when the sun sets, we lose some fuel as well. But can't stress enough that we've got to still watch this, because this could head into Tama County, the northwest side of Poweshiek County. This is going to pass to the north of Kellogg, but it will cross Highway 224. And it'll pass north of Oakland Acres. Newburgh, we need to watch this. The Newburgh community right there on the Jasper and Poweshiek County line.
Yeah, looking at the rotation, it's the weakest it's been in a long time, so that's a positive sign.
That is a good thing.
But we're not going to let our guard down. You folks stay in your shelters in this area, north of Newton, north of Kellogg, heading toward the Gilman area. It's moving off to the northeast again, and it still has rotation, still possibly producing a tornado. But I just want to tell you the truth, that it has weakened over the last couple of cycles here, so that is good news. Still some strong rotation down to the south here as well. Let's go back down there and take a look at what's going on here as we keep you up to date here. This storm, again, if it's a purple polygon, that means, or a magenta, that means we have seen a tornado. It's been spotted. So that's where we're more concerned in some cases. And you can see that rotation still there, not quite as pronounced there as well. So, and this is kind of interesting, because some of our high-res models predicted that it would kind of shut down pretty quickly. Hopefully that's what's happening here, that it is starting to wind down. But we are not done with this yet, and it's not done with us yet. We still have warnings in place right now. I'm just hopeful that things will have to wind down here shortly as we move into cooler and cooler air.
Yeah, agreed, Brad. So we've still got a couple of active tornado warnings. Again, at this point, you would typically see our 6 o'clock newscast. Right now, I don't think that's going to be happening. I think we'll probably be covering weather for at least a half hour longer.
I think so,
here. I would love for these to weaken, but.
And we are going to cover the events that have happened so far and try to get you information for you. And maybe we'll have it before 6:30. I don't know, but.
Possibly. Yep. I do believe now that the storm is exiting West Des Moines, we've got a crew headed to Winterset. We're still waiting a little bit to give that all clear to head to Norwalk, but it is okay to go to Winterset now and check out what's been going on down there. This is now passing right over Newton. We have 2 confirmed tornadoes, and this one is now going to be approaching the northeast corner of Jasper County. It has now moved to the north of I-80, and it will clip the very southeastern tip of Marshall County, and then it's going to be headed up really into Tama County. It may clip the northwest side of Poweshiek County, but I think it will stay to the north and west of Grinnell.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting some reports. Even my brother said he had some hail earlier tonight too. So yeah, a lot of people helping us out with reports. Thank you for that. If you do take pictures, take them safely and then send them to us out there. We don't want anybody to get in harm's way. So it's been a very active night. We're hopefully getting closer to the end of the night than the beginning of it, but we are looking at still some stormy weather coming through the Des Moines area. No reports of anything large. I'm going to take a look at the hail on that just because it is affecting the downtown area right now. And let's see if we can put that up, hail size here. Doesn't look like it's coming very large on our system right now, so I'm not too concerned about that one. It's mostly rain coming through the Des Moines area with maybe some hail, but it doesn't look like it's large hail at any degree. So going back to the radar, our situation is this. We have 2 tornado warnings that are confirmed. The one passing north of Newton right now. That one there will be going in toward the Kellogg area. Very serious situation there. We've had many reports of damage from that particular storm and tornado. Further to the south, this storm also producing a tornado. Of course, it's further from the radar site, so a little harder to see, right? It doesn't have the same kind of signature that you would expect, but we can definitely look at it with the radar or the velocity scope, and you see that little pocket there with the greens and the reds. So the brighter greens are coming toward the radar, the reds going away. That is circulation, that is rotation. It's not quite as tight as it was before. It's not quite as strong, which is all good signs. So generally speaking, we have been seeing better, some weakening of these storms, and they have just taken off the Magenta there as I speak, which is also a good sign. So it's no longer confirmed, but the tornado warning will continue for a little while longer. And this tornado warning has been extended, Brandon, so that's going to go right into southern Tama County now.
Yeah, and actually, this is my fault for not updating this with our production crew. If you hear me upstairs, we can take off Des Moines Metro and southern Iowa now, and it will be for the following counties that we have a tornado warning for, and I'll repeat them twice. It'll be Jasper, Marshall, Poweshiek, Tama, Lucas, Marion, and Monroe.
And they don't have to put Marshall.
We don't have to put all of that.
Don't put Marshall on there. I think it's going to stay. It's just a sliver
there.
Yeah. It was just one of those. They draw the polygon. They have to draw it a certain way, but it's not going to affect Marshall. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
But Tama, certainly Tama County and Poweshiek, northern Poweshiek County, and certainly that portion of Jasper County.
Yeah. And then of course the Lucas, Marion, and Monroe.
Mm-hmm. Now that Magenta went away on my screen. It leads me to believe that they discontinued that. It's not gone from my GR, but it is gone from our system.
They have basically brought that one down to radar indicated for Lucas, Marion, and Monroe County, which is a good thing. Essentially, that probably means there may not be reason to believe that there is a confirmed tornado on the ground still.
The one to the south actually may strengthen yet before it weakens. It looks like broad rotation down here north of Promise City. So you are still in that. It's toward the Moravia area. So still a potential tornado with that particular system. So that is one that we will watch for a little while longer. And of course, the ones up to the north are still a problem for us as well. This is the one passing through Newton. Getting that updated as we speak. So you can see this is the storm of the day, really, and it continues into the evening now with that rotation. Again, not quite as strong as it once was. In fact, I'm going to put this right here for a second. I'm going to loop your shear tracker and just kind of point out how it's been behaving lately. So let's go back to that. There's our shear right there. And I'm going to loop that for the last, let's say, 30 minutes or so. Well, it didn't. It's not working for me, but I'll try to get that to work. It is basically a system that has shown some signs of weakening out there, and I think the third time will be the charm on this, but we are looking for that. See that area? It's kind of moving pretty fast there. I'm going to slow that down.
Yeah.
But
while you are watching that, I do want to pull up another photo. This is from Chris Kubal, who is a meteorologist actually at the ABC affiliate up in southern Minnesota, but he has family in Sheraton. I know we've talked to him several times. 2 miles southeast of Sheraton, there is a home here. That's a heartbreaking picture, honestly. That is significant damage. The wall is falling over. Oh, God, I hope everybody's okay.
Yeah, this is why we go to the basement, because those walls upstairs can't take the wind. Once the roof comes off, it really just really takes away the strength of the house when the roof does come off. So let's hope everybody's okay there. And yeah, it's been a terrible night.
It has.
It really has, because any damage. I mean, even if no one gets hurt, you've got all this damage out there. And people's lives are,
it's people's homes and people's businesses and things that they do. Let's go back to the radar.
And I want to show Brandon this.
Sure.
A sign of hope, basically. This is that the cell that's brought so much damage and destruction going south of Colfax, and you can see how it has weakened over the last several runs. This is the last 30 minutes. So that's good news.
Yeah, I hope it falls apart.
Yeah, I do too.
I would really be glad if it did. It's going to be approaching Highway 224 there. However, we still have some energy down in southern Iowa. The National Weather Service reminding us that there is still what we call some backing winds in areas like Oskaloosa and Ottumwa. So we can't let our guard down on those. And of course, we still have that observed tornado warning. The good news is, essentially, if you live west of I-35, you're done. It's over. There will be some strong wind later on tonight as the cold front really comes in, but that is just plain old wind. It is not thunderstorm wind. At this point, we are still keeping a very close watch on 3 separate tornado warnings. One that Brad just showed here that he is
Still a weak TVS, a Tornadic Vortex signature in this system. It's north of Kellogg right now. You folks in Kellogg, you should be in your basement right now, or a safe place, the safest place of your house, away from windows, away from walls, as many walls between you and outdoors as possible.
This will be headed towards Newburgh, and eventually will cross Highway 146. We are still seeing that on velocity, but as Brad showed you with the shear, it is, I don't even know if I want to say it's weaker. It's a little tiny bit weaker than it was. Yeah,
there's still a pretty good signature there north of Kellogg with that rotation there. It may be a little broader now, so that's always good if it's not too tight. If it's tighter, it means it's a tight little tornado, very positive or very strong. This one is a little broader, but still rotation there in the Kellogg, north of Kellogg, heading toward the Newburgh area. Let's go back down to the south, Brandon. This is the other storm we're watching, 2 of them. Still, like you said, there's more potential down here with the energy inflow, but
still a bit of backing wind and warmer air over Wapello County in Ottumwa, but these are neither of them showing confirmed tornadoes at this point. You're still seeing some velocity, but it does not look quite as pronounced as it maybe did a little while ago.
Yeah, we're looking for good signs here, but we're not ready to let our guard down completely. That warning for Des Moines, we haven't heard any reports coming in from this particular cell. It's going through Mitchellville, Colfax. Might have some hail with that. It looks like it could. Probably not that large, though. Not like we had earlier. We had some hail.
Yeah.
Where was that had was it Colfax? No, it was.
The damage in the hail
was further west.
In. It was in Orient.
Orient.
Goodness, I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it was.
There was damage on Southeast 45th and Army Post in Des Moines. There was a house heavily damaged with power poles down. And also along I-80, just to the west of Newton, we had some semis that were flipped over.
Okay.
The Weather Service has said the supercell north of I-80, they believe is recycling and still think that it will hold some momentum or hold some strength.
Usually those ones that are so powerful, the first ones to be born, the last ones to die almost.
They almost have to, when we say recycling, it's like they have to take a break for a second.
Yeah, they are. These things are breathing, living things almost, these supercell thunderstorms. And yeah, it's kind of recycling, kind of getting its act back together. And it's going to try again to produce a tornado if it's not doing it already. So this is why the warning continues. And that's why we have a magenta polygon here. And it's going to be heading, it looks like, between Newburgh, maybe close to Newburgh, and I'd say north of Grinnell if it continues on the trajectory that I'm looking at. So I think it'll be north of Grinnell, but still, this is the most dangerous storm we've had all night, and it continues probably to be, at this moment, the most dangerous storm.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I don't see no more information. The less information coming in usually means the better it is, usually, but we'll continue to monitor it here. Here's the big picture again. Let me put this into a loop. Again, you can see the storms on a wider loop down into Missouri. They've got severe weather, but really not the best conditions for tornadoes down there because the winds are at different directions and different speeds. So they're getting more of the straight line winds. We have better conditions for tornadoes here, and we thought that was going to be the case, and that is exactly what happened. It will get better because we are going to get cooler. It's going to get into nighttime. The watch goes until 8 o'clock. I would say by 8 we're going to definitely be done, hopefully sooner, but this is what we have right now. We have that tornado warning coming out of Jasper County heading toward the Belle Plaine area.
There is a new tornado warning that has just popped up that will now include Mahaska County. And that is for the one that we've been talking about. And that's going to be headed
Oskaloosa.
Yeah, south of Oskaloosa. We've got to really watch that. That'll be right there heading into Mahaska County along Highway 63.
I'm going to recenter this a little bit. So yeah, this is our one. And I'm going to, just popped up on our crawl as well.
So or upstairs rather, we can add Mahaska to our banner there. That'll be, moving into Oskaloosa, I'm afraid.
Let's get the scoop or the scope on that one. And it's, again, it's a broader area, but it's just, so it's not radar confirmed, or it's not a confirmed tornado, but it's radar indicated. And you can see that rotation there. It's not sharp, but it is there.
I think it's one of those situations where even if it's not confirmed, it has been confirmed in the past.
Yes.
This has been serious in the past. And so we want to keep those warnings going until we really feel like the storm has died.
It has no potential,
Right.
And that's where we're not at yet, boy. These storms are still showing potential for sure. We've got this warning now moving still into, I guess it's been extended now. So
into Jasper, just for hail and high wind that is possible here.
Let me read more about what that was.
Where we're seeing these darker colors, these pinks and purples, that's likely where we could have some extremely heavy rainfall and hail. So kind of adding insult to injury, so to speak, in some of the areas like Colfax that have already been hit. Again, if you are west of I-35, storms are over. You are completely clear. If you're on the west side of the Des Moines Metro, you are completely clear as well. Ames, you are clear. Boone is clear, just to give some folks that update there. We are watching the still an observed tornado warning. It has sort of tightened up a little bit, this supercell, which again, we've been watching for it to potentially weaken. It's going to be moving here into southern Tama County very soon and northern Poweshiek County. It looks like, Brad, that will probably pass north of Grinnell.
Yeah.
Which is good. I really don't want this to go through any more large towns. I don't want to go through anywhere, but, you know.
Yeah, better to avoid the big towns for sure.
Right, exactly. It goes up and crosses 146. It should stay just to the north of Grinnell, but Gilman is in the path of this. Sheridan, and again, this is far northern Poweshiek County, Highway 63, heading into southern Tama County. That'll be south of Tama. And this is still where we are seeing that inflow just to the north of Highway 6 there. Approaching the Jasper-Poweshiek County line.
I'm noticing two pockets here that we're developing. So it is recycling, as the Weather Service was talking about, and it is also, I've got a secondary pocket has developed of higher vorticity, and that is kind of just north of Kellogg, but then east of 224.
Right. This is what Brad's talking about right here, this bright area that has popped up on velocity.
And if that little green pixel is right, then it's a gate-to-gate shear, which means it is probably a tornado. If we do have gate-to-gate shear, which means a pixel next to another pixel of different colors, then it could be a tornado right in that.
You know, Brad, I believe if you double-click on that green, it might show you what the speed there is of gate-to-gate
I'd have
shear.
I'll use the...
It might work.
So the gate-to-gate's 103 miles per hour there.
So extremely strong wind.
I think there probably is a tornado there, or there will be a tornado there. So this is still, it's heading, again, between probably just south of Gilman. I can zoom in, but there's really not too many towns in this area. Newburgh, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to cross 146 north of Grinnell and south of Gilman.
Yeah, so Newburgh, you folks in Newburgh, this is a serious situation. Could be life or death. Get everybody to a safe place if you're not there yet. You've only got a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bearing down on there now. And we are going to watch that head into Tama and Poweshiek. We should also check in on the southern Iowa two storms here, kind of dueling storms. What's happening here is these don't look as healthy, and they're fighting each other to stay alive, although they have done so for quite a while. We are going to be watching for, I believe now this tornado warning has been extended to include portions of Wapello County on the southern side. So this is moving into Albia along Highway 5 where it meets Highway 34. Albia should be in a safe place now over towards 137, heading from Monroe County back into the northern part of Wapello County. This looks like, at least right now, the core of this may stay to the west and northwest of Ottumwa.
It's the healthiest one of the two, this one to the south, and it has that strongest rotation right there. You can see southeast of Melrose and southwest of Albia. It's heading toward Albia, though. So you folks in Albia, this is a dangerous storm, and even though it hasn't been confirmed, it's still, you want to pretend that it has been, or basically act like it has been.
Right.
It's a dangerous storm.
Yeah, at the very least, there could be very strong wind coming in to Albia. And then there is that tornado warning to the north of that, headed towards the Lavilia area. So we are kind of taking there, Brad, a wider picture to show what is still happening.
And Des Moines is in the clear, so we are okay. We're not going to see any more storms tonight. It looks like that last line is it as the cold front starts to move in, and we'll notice our temperatures dropping as we go through the night.
Yes, and of course, I should mention to everybody, it will be windy tonight.
Yes.
And that might catch people off guard. That is the cold front.
You'll hear the wind blowing tonight. It'll be coming in from the west-northwest later tonight and could be gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Just going to be normal wind and not a thunderstorm. Those are all going to move out of here hopefully very, very soon here. At 7 o'clock, Local 5, we are broadcasting the Variety Telethon Spotlight, and we're still planning on doing that. Hopefully by 7 o'clock, things will be winding down.
Yeah, I would hope so too. At the very least, these storms will be exiting our area. You know, still they're kind of approaching the eastern fringes of our area now. Still very much want to keep an eye on them.
So if the producers up there, are you hearing any more reports from Mid-American or any other agencies out there that have any more information about the damage we've seen? I think that's going to be the story moving forward as these storms wind down, is who was impacted by them. And a lot of communities were, unfortunately. We've already seen a lot of pictures on Twitter and Facebook, and they continue to come in. We thank you for sending those pictures to us as well.
So we have calls out to Lucas, Warren, and Jasper County Sheriff's offices. The National Weather Service, as they relay reports, it seems like the city of Sheraton in the city limits is okay.
Okay.
Which is good. But that 1 mile south
that's
is where we had that home damage.
Yep.
And where we also had at least 15 power poles down.
Yeah, I think we have a tornado on the ground here, Brandon. This is between Gilman and Grinnell.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I believe this storm is still producing. If it's not a tornado, it's darn close. Still very, very powerful situation there. And you got some gate-to-gate shear, very strong in that area.
Yeah, that is a very well-pronounced signature. I'll hop over to the video wall here and show that again, just to the south of Gilman and now moving towards Sheridan.
You're up on the video wall now.
There we go. Yeah. This is what Brad is pointing out here. Very bright color, white, green, and red all appearing. There is, I would agree with you, very much likely a tornado on the ground there, just south of Gilman, but it's going to cross over 146.
It looks like it's moving in that direction there. I can't move too far out, but yeah, it's going south of Gilman, probably close to Sheridan, but hopefully north of Sheridan. Again, just trying to weave our way through all these communities.
I would love, let's stay outside of the communities. And this is going to be headed up, though, into Tama County here very soon, because you can see even on this bigger map where that is. It's right there at kind of the intersection of Marshall County, Tama County, Poweshiek County, and Jasper County, but it's going to just barely clip Poweshiek. Grinnell, you're going to be okay, and this is going to move up into Tama County.
Yeah. And we have, I just looked at it again, we have a TVS in that area, same place. It is Newburgh right now. I expect there's a tornado in this area right now. So you folks in Newburgh, it is a serious situation. Do not stick your head out. Just go to your safe place and stay put right now. And it's heading off to the northeast, Brandon, as they always have, probably getting close to Sheridan and then passing up south of Toledo into Tama County.
Yeah, it's going to go right south of Toledo if it holds on that same path and cross over Highway 30. And again, as we've been stressing, you have to be in your safe place. And these are eventually going to fall apart, but they just will not right now. And that is a very well-pronounced velocity signature on top of Newburgh. You have to be in the lowest floor of your home or of your building, away from windows and doors, as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. The basement is the best place to go if you've got one. I know not every home does, but you've got to be away from those windows and doors. And that's going to be approaching 146, eventually crossing over Highway 63. Just to give some folks a heads up, this will stay south of LeGrand, and it will stay, will stay south of Marshalltown. But this is going to be moving right up into the heart of Tama County. And then I do want to, Brad, check in on those tornado warnings down to the south.
Yeah, I've got a report from my daughter who has a coworker in Winterset.
Okay.
Her house was damaged, destroyed, she says.
Wow.
Her house was destroyed and they were okay. They were in the basement with her two girls and everyone's okay. But that's one house that we know that was destroyed in Winterset. So yeah.
There will be storm surveys going on for several days, I'm sure. The National Weather Service will be doing that, and then we'll be tracking snow here in about 48 hours. So these are headed up into Mahaska County, moving out of right now in Albia. This is on top of you, and there is strong rotation popping up there just south of Albia. And that's going to be moving right up to Highway 63 here. Yep. And then there's another pocket of rotation. That one not as healthy.
But north of Bluff Creek.
North of Bluff Creek. That's headed into Oskaloosa. So Mahaska County, Wapello County, Monroe County, still areas that we're watching. That one is a fairly healthy signature just to the south of Albia.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm surprised we're not getting storm reports. I'm taking a look and see if we got anything coming in from the one to the east. Tornado just crossed. There we go. Tornado just crossed just northwest of Newburgh, So
yeah,
on that northwest side.
Well, you called it when you saw that velocity signature. That was so apparent. These are a little bit more broad down to the south. That does not mean they should be taken any less seriously, but the broader they look, the less likely that there's a tornado on the ground. This one is certainly more well-pronounced south of Albia than the one north of Bluff Creek. And that one north of Bluff Creek, it's fighting because this one's cutting it off.
Yeah, so this is the one, this is more concerning for sure in
Highway
this
5
area.
and 34.
Yeah, I move that around, but this seems to be the right toward the Hocking area, actually pretty close to Hocking in that area. So yeah, we've got really serious situation out there, folks. And this one, again, tornado on the ground still. This has been the storm of all storms tonight because it has produced a tornado for so long, and it's been a large tornado at times. It's been a multiple vortex or vortice tornado at times, and it's still producing a tornado going just northwest of Newburgh and now heading into that very, very corner of Poweshiek County, it looks like. So it's going to be moving north of Grinnell and probably close to Sheridan area, it's south of Gilman right now is what we're looking at. So just a very dangerous situation here, and that's coming into southern Tama County as well, south of Toledo. I don't believe it's going to hit Toledo. It looks like it's going to stay south of there, and the Meskwaki Indian Settlement as well, staying south of that area as well. So that's good, I suppose, but it is still the most dangerous storm we have out there as I'm looking for more information, but that is the strongest signature we have.
So, yeah, and I want to mention some good news from the Weather Service. They say, and kind of what we were seeing, those 2 southern supercells are starting to, they phrase it as cut themselves out. The winds are not backing as drastically ahead of it, and so they said there's still some mid-level rotation, but they believe these 2 may now finally be showing their first signs of weakening.
That is good.
Yeah.
You know, and when we're talking about these thunderstorms here, I'm just going to draw on here for a little bit. So we've got kind of a southeast wind coming into this system, and then aloft we have winds coming this direction. So we're creating basically that perfect low-level environment for rotation along there with this storm, and of course it's just been it's been the storm. It's been we call this kind of the triple point of the storm system it's kind of on the northern end of the low, kind of where the warm front is, where the cold front is. It's called a triple point, and this has been kind of riding that little crest as we've been going through the evening, and it's been in a perfect environment. And I called it the sweet spot earlier, and that was way back before Winterset. I thought we were talking about it, but it's been on that very perfect little place, and it's been so prolific because of that, and we just got to get it to wind itself down here. It's not doing it yet, and it's still a very strong circulation. Again, passing is east of Gilman right now. It should stay south of Tama as we look at it right now. Let me go in for a closer look here. So so there you go. It's passing south of Gilman, probably going north of Sheridan. Let's see if we got any new information coming in. Okay, no. We zoom on out. Here's the loop again of the big picture of in the Des Moines area, you're clear, Osceola clear, all these areas clear, going out and surveying damage, I'm sure. But you do have the all clear in those areas. Anywhere from I-35 westward is clear right now. We are still looking at that tornado. The magenta color is tornado confirmed. The red tornado warnings are tornado warnings radar indicated, but they still could produce a tornado. I think the most dangerous situation continues to be this storm. It's the first one, and it'll be the last one, it looks like, as far as how intense that it is right now. It doesn't look like much. As it gets further away from the radar, it's definitely been rain wrapped at times, so it's harder to see where the tornado might be. But we can see it with the velocity scope, that's for sure. I'm going to zoom in for a closer look here and get you that little area there. And let's see my velocity scope. So it is in that area there, the rotation coming to and from the radar. It's not as strong as it once was, which is good news, but it's still that 146 corridor, and it's heading off to the northeast, passing north of Sheraton, it looks like, over the next several minutes.
So we are continuing to trim the counties that are affected by these tornado warnings. Marion and Monroe are no longer in tornado warnings. Jasper County is out of a tornado warning now. So it is at this point Tama, Poweshiek. Well, I should correct that. There is a portion of Monroe County that is still under a tornado warning. That is my mistake to our team upstairs. There were 2 separate tornado warnings. It looks like that southern one has been canceled. Kind of a confusing look there on the Doppler radar, but it includes Oskaloosa and Ottumwa still, or at least to the north and west of Ottumwa. So Brad, we have mentioned that we hope those cells are starting to lose a little bit of steam down here to the south.
Yeah.
This is still a fairly pronounced cell moving into Wapello County, and then we still have the confirmed tornado, up to the north.
I'll tell you this about the one to the north, Brandon, the one that's produced the tornado all night. It no longer has a TVS.
Okay.
Well, I spoke too soon. It went away.
It was cycling.
It went away for a little bit. It went away for a couple of runs, but now it is back to a TVS. It's a weak TVS, though, so that's good. But this is the one we're still watching. The southern end, the northern one, it's pretty much done. This one is one that might be a concern. Let me get the velocity scope on that for you, Brandon.
Sure.
And there it is.
Yeah, that is still very concerning.
Crossing Highway 34, good rotation.
Just to the east of Albia.
Now, you know, the farther from the radar you are, the higher up in the sky it is, basically. So that one is, I'll tell you right now, that is about 5,300 feet off the ground is that rotation we're looking at there. So it's not really close to the ground. So it doesn't mean there's a tornado. It just means that it's got a strong rotation with that particular storm. So something we're watching there.
Yeah, we still have to keep an eye on that, and it'll be headed towards the northern part of Wapello County, and that includes Highway 63. This should pass just to the south of Eddyville, but it'll go over, and forgive me, I believe it's Chillicothe, but it might be Chillicothe, in the Dudley area, Kirkville, crossing Highway 63.
And it looks like it'll stay north of Ottumwa, but I wouldn't guarantee that because it may turn to the right a little bit.
Yeah.
Further to the north, our cell that just won't stop, the Energizer Bunny here, this Magenta, meaning we've had a confirmed tornado. And as recently as, let me just stop that loop. That was recently, it went right through the Newburgh area, or probably just the north side of Newburgh.
But it's moving quick. And so it's now over Highway 63, and it is just to the south of Toledo. This is not far off from exiting our area.
Yeah.
Tama County is the last county in our area on this particular area, but we want to keep an eye on it south of Toledo. Highway 63 as it's going to cross Highway 30, hopefully go to the north of Chelsea, and it'll go, if it holds on this same path, right here through this community of Elberon. But it should stay just to the south of Toledo, but roll right through Tama County as well.
Brandon, some images are going to pop up east of Winterset from Dan, sent those to us. So you can see those popping up full screen right now. Now they're on the video wall. But yeah, there's the damage. It was, did I say east of Winterset?
Yes.
Yeah, east of Winterset. So yeah. And this is going to be, unfortunately, all too common because we're going to see a lot of this in the next 24 hours.
I have a feeling we'll be seeing damage photos and damage reports today, tonight, tomorrow, and into early next week, because we've also heard that there have been reports in Colfax, parts of Des Moines, south of Sheraton, Norwalk, of course, and of course Winterset. So there's a lot of communities that have been affected, and we've got crews fanning out as best as we possibly can, but there is going to be quite a bit of damage, and we may have to check out some areas tomorrow and see what's been going on.
Oh, definitely.
That's the image there over Winterset. We are almost...
We can, yeah, there's radar.
There we go.
So we have two warnings, the one to the north, one to the south. The one to the north still a confirmed tornado as of last report.
Yeah.
Although both have shown some signs of weakening. Certainly the one to the north has weakened. It's not going to continue much longer in that environment. It's getting into cooler and cooler air. It still wants to rotate, I'll give you that, but it doesn't have the cape.
It's going to lose the energy,
potential.
Right. And the fact that it's 6:30 now, and the sun will be setting, in fact has already set for much of us, and it's going to move across this area, I would say within 20-30 minutes it'll be out of Tama County. Yeah. It's moving pretty fast.
Yeah, and it'll stay south of the city of Tama too. It'll stay south of you. So.
Yeah. We're watching Toledo, of course. It should stay south of there. Gladstone, though, along Highway 30, it'll head up into that area.
Chelsea,
yeah, the Chelsea area. It's crossing Highway 63 there in the south central part of Tama County. And then the other tornado warning down to the south, that one has also shown considerable signs of weakening. One thing I've noticed, by the way, is, and we might want to update this at the bottom as well, the tornado warning is no longer in effect for Oskaloosa, and this is getting, well, it's not quite as pronounced again either.
Well, we're getting range. That purple in there is called a purple haze in meteorology, and it's range folding, and just it doesn't know what's going on there. It's just getting too far from the radar.
I was going to say, we're getting really far from our radar site here. This is still moving north and east, though, so going through the Chillicothe area, and again, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, but that's going to cross Highway 63 and then head to the west and north of Ottumwa. By the way, not that this is relevant right now, but up in northwest Iowa, there's some snow showers falling.
Yeah, I thought I'd show this big picture. This is with the lightning on it. So, yeah, these are indeed thunderstorms. You can see all the lightning strikes up there, and that is snow falling. That's going to wrap around this system. So, yeah, it's been quite a situation. What's remarkable, Brandon, is the last time we had thunderstorms was December 15th in central Iowa. So we went from that event to this event, and it's like bookends of severe weather, like amazing severe weather. from December 15th to today, we're doing a severe weather special. I want to mention we're going to be doing that in a couple of weeks now. We'll be talking about today as well. But what crazy weather we've had lately, and look for that on Local 5, a severe weather special coming up at the end of March. But this has been a crazy night, and it's starting to improve, but we still have a couple of situations. The one in Tama County toward the edge of our viewing area. Again, by 7 o'clock, we are expected and hoping to go to our Variety Telethon Spotlight at 7 o'clock. So that will hopefully, if we do need to continue our coverage, we may continue on another format, maybe online or on KCWI Channel 23. Brandon, you got any new information coming in? Because it looks like I'm looking at weakening signs of the one south of Tama. That has weakened a little bit. That warning expires at 7. We'll see if they may reissue it because it has been the most prolific storm all night. But
yeah,
it's definitely going into an unfavorable environment now.
Yeah, I don't really have any other reports. Which again, as you said, I don't know, an hour ago.
Yeah.
The less reports that come in, the better. Typically. Mm-hmm. I don't have any additional reports, which I think is a wonderful thing at this point.
I'm going to just load the shear up again. So you can see just, I've been showing this occasionally, so how small, and it's not bright anymore. If I loop this back an hour, let's say, let's go back an hour, and I'll promise to do it right this time. So, and it's moving a lot faster than I want it to, but it definitely is, there it is. So you can see how it's weakened? That shear, this is the one producing a tornado. So this is basically showing how strong that rotation was, and it went from the bright blues, in some cases maybe even into the purples, and then it got into now where it's weakened to dark blue. It's almost gone. So this is a good sign. We still have to take heed of the warning until 7 o'clock and just wait till it completely dies. The safest thing is when the storm is completely unable to produce a tornado, and we can't say that quite yet, but at least it has weakened.
Well, I was going to say the way that today has gone, we don't want to call anything prematurely here, but it is reassuring to see that these warnings have been trimmed in their size. There may be some additional pockets of heavy rain, thunder, or lightning that move in your area, but we're now down to 2 relatively smaller warnings, and as Brad mentioned, this one is getting pretty far from the radar site. Keep in mind the Des Moines Doppler radar site is in Polk City and Johnston. And that's kind of there.
That's the shear we're seeing, so it's not much.
It's not much, and that might be why they have opted not to necessarily extend that tornado warning more. I was told it's pronounced Chillicothe. Chillicothe. I don't even know. I'm so sorry if that's your town and I'm mispronouncing it a lot. I will learn it, I promise. But this is a good thing that we have not seen this warning extended even farther. So it's really that one to the north that is the only warning that still has an observed tornado on it, and that is even weakened quite a bit, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, 10,000 people now, Brandon, without power.
Is that just in Des Moines?
Mid-American, I'm not sure.
That is just the metro.
I think we even have is that the map pulled up right there? So there you go. You can see that map. So yeah, it's been quite a situation there. They can override the radar with that too. So we're not done yet, but we're getting closer. It's moving east. It's weakening, and things are winding down here as we get.
There is, Yep. As much as that shear is weakened, there is still a tornado on the ground.
Is there?
Southwest of Tama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, actually.
Law enforcement there at 6:37 just said visible tornado with power flashes.
Oh, my gosh.
On Highway 63 at the Tama County line.
Yeah. Okay, let's zoom into that area.
So we're it's still there.
It's really, it's probably right about Highway 63 and the county line, kind of in that area there. Let me pull up the velocity scope again, but it doesn't surprise me, actually. It has weakened, but like I said, the first to be born, the last to die, and that is where it is right there. So Highway 63, it's crossing that right now. It is headed toward the Chelsea area, so you folks are still in the path of this tornado, which is still on the ground. It will not die. It is just refuses to go away, but and I can see it cycling again because it has it still continues to cycle. Even though it is weakened, it's kind of, the ups aren't as big as they used to be. I mean, it was a wedge tornado for a while. It probably isn't that now, but there's still a tornado on the ground here. And it is, again, in the southern portion of Tama County, heading toward Chelsea in that area. So it's south of Highway 30 right now, crossing Highway 63. And it should stay probably south of 30 until it gets to the Chelsea area.
Yeah, so we're going to keep a close watch on that. We have, Simon, remind me what this man's name is. Okay, Doug Richardson, who is on the phone with us from the Norwalk Fire Department. Hey, Doug, it's Brandon. Can you tell me what you've seen there in Norwalk and what's going on as far as the damage there in town?
Yeah, sure. We've seen quite a variety of structural damage from residential structures to vehicles all the way up to some large commercial structures. At this time, we have no report of any injuries. A lot of power lines down, a lot of trees down. We've stood up our unified command posts. We have partners from West Des Moines and the Iowa DOT, as well as Norwalk Public Works, assisting in this venture. So right now we've just kind of made our initial primary searches, and we're at the point now where we're kind of regrouping and going to go back out and do some secondary searches of the city.
Doug, so just to reiterate, there is a lot of damage, but you did say, again, at this point, no reports of any injuries.
Yeah, that is correct. Widespread damage, primarily to the south and southeastern parts of our city limits, but no injuries at this time.
Doug, I appreciate you joining us. It's so great to hear that there have been no injuries. I mean, of course, damage is awful, and it's a big pain, but I'm glad that nobody has been hurt, at least that we know of yet. Doug Richardson, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I imagine Doug will be talking with you over the next couple of days.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, so back to the radar, and our situation remains dangerous in portions of Tama County. Again, this is still a tornado on the ground, and we continue to get reports from the people that are chasing it there. And again, it was heading kind of toward the Gladstone area, probably just south of there. But let's take a look at the velocity scope, and it'll give us a better idea where it is. Still a dangerous storm, even though it's not what it once was, but you can see that pop of white and red there. So yeah, it's got some strong rotation there. Very close to the Gladstone area. So you folks in Gladstone, you are under basically in the path of this storm and could be in the path of destruction. So be very, very careful there. Let it pass by before you head outdoors. Still some very, very dangerous situations in these areas. I'm going to zoom back out again, give you the big picture. And Brandon, it is moving toward the edge of the viewing area, and we're going to try to wrap things up by 7 o'clock, but this has been a bad night for central Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely. We will certainly not stop talking about this, even though the storms themselves will be over. We've got crews headed out to see the damage now. You just heard from the Norwalk Fire Department there, and we've heard from officials in Des Moines this evening, and it has just been, you know, like you said, we had December 15th, which was such a prolific day, and then, you know, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think today would pan out quite this way. I knew we would have a tornado threat. I knew we would have a wind threat and a hail threat. I didn't think we'd be tracking a supercell from literally the western edge of our viewing area to the eastern edge of our viewing area. We cover a large area. Mm-hmm. This is the confirmed tornado that is in Tama County, and as Brad said, they're both approaching the end of the viewing area here. That doesn't mean that they are not important. I would encourage you, if you're watching us in Tama County, and as this will cross towards Belle Plaine or north of Belle Plaine, we've got some wonderful meteorologists in Cedar Rapids who I know will be picking this up. This will go into their area, and they'll be taking care of that for us and keeping an eye on it. But this is going to be moving pretty quickly. I think, like Brad said, by 7 o'clock it should be just about out of Tama County. And then the one to the south, there is some fairly tight rotation near the Ottumwa Airport, but still no confirmation at this point.
I'm going to pull up storm reports. I just got another report in from my daughter who works in the medical field. And she said that house that was damaged is flattened in Winterset. And she also heard that the Winterset Hospital is in basically, how did she put it? It was in disaster mode.
Oh, goodness.
So we hope there are no injuries, maybe it's precautionary, but it's a bad situation in some parts of central Iowa. Winterset is one of those areas. Here are the reports out there. Now, some of these are funnel clouds, and I'm going to take off those funnel clouds, actually. But let me see where that is. So okay, those are the funnel clouds and wall clouds. So these are just the tornadoes now. These are the reports that we've had. This isn't official. This tells you just where they've been tonight. And this is the Winterset area. So we've had all these reports. Of course, it's probably the same tornado, but those are the reports around the Winterset area that we've had tonight. And it started further down into Adams County. That's the same cell. So like Brandon said, it started in southwest Iowa, Adams County, east of Quincy, and then it went all the way up into the south side of Des Moines, and it's still going, as we've had a report going into the southern portion of Tama County. It hasn't popped up here yet. So that is going to be one thunderstorm, one supercell that has produced tornadoes like that in the area. Yes, yeah, the hospital is okay. I knew that, but it is her house that was leveled. But still, very, very disastrous there in Winterset tonight. As I'm looking at some of the information coming in here, looking at our cell here, Brandon, it is east of Toledo. Still has a signature that could be producing a tornado. Let's go back to it now, and I'll put that radar back up. So here we go. Gladstone area. Again, you've been under the in the path of this storm and under the gun. So this is a dangerous situation. I'm gonna get the velocity scope on that, Brandon, see what we can see. It's not as strong, but it's still there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of watching that.
Yeah.
There was reports from the National Weather Service that it was a confirmed tornado still there in Tama County. So it has not let up or lifted yet.
Okay. Yep.
We can go to, while you're analyzing radar, there's another big picture here that we have. This is from Brandon Sullivan. There is tornado damage in near Winterset. This is south of town on Highway 169. That is a lot of damage. There's a lot of tree debris there. And there are some structures that are really heavily hit too. So definitely in the Winterset area, there's been a lot of damage there.
Yeah. And yeah, they're saying it's a cone tornado still in that southern portion of Tama County.
Okay.
And you can see they've whittled this down to a very small area. That's exactly where the tornado is. It's kind of in the Gladstone area between Gladstone and Helena, and moving off to the east and northeast toward the Vining area.
Just got another report from the Polk County Sheriff's Office that there are several homes that are destroyed east of Southeast Polk High School in the Pleasant Hill area, or just to the east of Pleasant Hill. As we've mentioned, that was an area that we were literally calling out east of Southeast Polk High School. I hope there are no injuries there, but several homes that are damaged, likely somewhere in the neighborhood of Highway 163. So this is now approaching the eastern side of Tama County. It's going to be moving away from Toledo now. It is moving to the south of Cloutier, and it will be north of Elberon. Moving, it should stay south of Dysart, by the way, but we're watching the Vining community, the Elberon community, and it should go through Cloutier and Elberon.
And as I was telling you, when you were over there analyzing some things, this started in Adams County. This supercell. It hasn't been on the ground the entire time, but it did start in that area, this particular supercell. So an incredible and very sad night out there for a lot of folks that have lost their homes, and hopefully no serious injuries out there. We haven't heard of any yet. We'll let you know, but we'll completely have, the newscast at 10 o'clock. We'll have a lot more information by then for sure.
So this tornado warning is moving, by the way, into the Sigourney area. Should stay just to the south of Sigourney. This is going to pass to the northwest of Ottumwa. This is still where we don't have a confirmed tornado, but we do still have some strong rotation crossing Highway 63 now. If you are in Hedrick, if you are along Highway 149, if you're along Highway 78, you should be in the safe place right now. I know we have been kind of recapping a lot of stuff and not focusing specifically on the trajectories of these storms right now. But as it crosses Highway 63, heads towards Hedrick, it's going to cross Highway 78, Highway 149, south of Hayesville. You need to be in that safe place now coming out of Ottumwa.
Okay, I'm talking to our director. By the way, Carly and all the people upstairs, you've been doing a great job handling this. We couldn't do it without you. we're at 7 o'clock. We are going to be going to Variety, the children's telethon. It's a spotlight for an hour, a very special cause here at Local 5, and we don't want to, obliterate that as the coverage winds down. But what we are going to do, Brandon, we're going to continue to broadcast on Channel 23, our sister station, or our other station. So KCWI, you can find it on your guide, KCWI Channel 23. We'll continue to broadcast there for a little while longer, but at 7 o'clock, we are going to go to that. Is that okay, Sharon? That's confirmed. Okay, so at 7 o'clock, we'll go back to normal broadcasting on our ABC Local 5 channel. So keep that in mind. We'll continue to broadcast on 23. Brandon?
And we also will be still live streaming on WeAreIowa.com.
All of our digital platforms.
App. Yeah, we will still be there, still on Facebook. We're not going away.
Yeah, it's just because this southern storm is the one that could still, the other one's moving out of our viewing area, but this is not out of our viewing area.
Yeah, the one to the north in Tama, that warning has been extended to include now a good chunk of Benton County. That is outside of our area.
Yeah.
So still very important for communities in Van Horn, Keystone, up towards Vinton. But again, please
Cedar Rapids,
join our Cedar Rapids meteorologists who do a fantastic job as they will take it over from there. We don't really have our signal and our doesn't quite reach that far.
Yeah, that's correct. So we're going to be focusing more and more on this one to the south, and we'll continue our broadcast, but we will be leaving, again, we'll be leaving Local 5, ABC, and only be on CW at the top of the hour. So
yeah, and our live streams. And this one will be approaching the edge of our viewing area here very soon as well. But it is still technically there. It's going to cross through a portion of Keokuk County and go through the Hedrick area. I can't stress enough, if you are in Hedrick, if you are in southern Keokuk County, northern Wapello County, you should be in shelter, because even though we don't necessarily have a confirmed tornado, this is going to pass through your area. This is just to the north and to the west of Ottumwa. I do think it has missed Ottumwa proper, at least I hope so, but has passed very close to the airport, which is northwest of town. And that rotation, a fairly tight couplet moving right over Highway 63. So that's the lowest floor of your home, of your building, away from windows and doors. We're looking at several highways here. Highway 78, Highway 21. It's going to probably stay south of Sigourney and cross right through Hedrick, and it is passing over Highway 149 right now, Iowa Highway 149, just to the north of Ottumwa.
And they say moving northeast at 45, Brandon, and I would add to that perhaps they haven't spotted a tornado because there are very few spotters in that area.
That's what I would imagine it possibly is too. Most of the storm chasers have either stopped for the night because they have been going for a long time, or now they're in the damage areas and they're trying to help folks. But there are also some in the Tama County area.
And charity is going to be a big thing, moving forward, helping your neighbor, helping your loved ones out there in the next couple of days. And that's why we're going to switch to the Variety Charity Telethon Spotlight. That'll be coming on at 7 o'clock for the same reason, charity. It's never a bad thing. So we invite you to stay with us and join that. If you need more coverage about the weather, we will be on Channel 23.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right, let's see. I'm just trying to kind of recap where we have crews going. So we have a crew in Winterset, we have a crew in Norwalk, we have a crew in Pleasant Hill, or headed towards Pleasant Hill, towards that area south of Southeast Polk High School. So those are the primary areas that we are looking at right now. Of course, there is probably damage. I know there was damage south of Sheraton.
Okay. So interestingly, no reports of wind damage. You and I find that interesting because the Storm Prediction Center thought there was going to be a lot of wind damage. But
yeah, of course. I mean, I wonder how much of this was specifically a tornado or how much was wind, It's probably majority tornado.
Yeah, I think it is. We would get wind reports if there were wind reports. Looking at the radar, this is the one that's coming to the edge of our viewing area, folks in the Gladstone area. This has really gotten really close because it's, let me get the scoop on that. It doesn't look quite as bad, but this is the one that just will not go away. It is an amazing storm. It has been going for several hours, and it just will not stop. And that has been reissued out to the east. So that's going to continue to move out to the east. Meanwhile, this storm right here is still a healthy storm, and we haven't had a confirmation, but it does have a good rotation, as we've seen with the velocity scope on that one, Brandon. I can still see it right there, just north of Highway 63.
Yeah, it's moving north, and what you're going to be looking at here in just a moment is video. Oh, this is from the Pleasant Hill area, heard just to the southeast of Pleasant Hill, passed over Highway 163, around 545, roof damage to a large ag building. This video is looking east. This came from Kevin Cavalin. And this is, I believe, pretty close to the Pleasant Hill area. Lots of emergency vehicles in that video. And we, as I mentioned, will have a crew headed out towards Pleasant Hill as well. Brad, that storm moving out of Wapello County, about to get my counties mixed up, moving out of Wapello County and into Keokuk County is still one to keep a very close eye on.
Yeah, I've got the velocity scope on it right now, Brandon. There's still a good rotation there. It's far from the radar, so it's hard to determine exactly where the tornado is or may not be. But boy, we have, this is the kind of night where you don't take anything for granted. And even that storm in the Tama County area, which was weakening, but it was still producing a tornado because it went from a wedge tornado to a cone tornado. So it's moving out of our viewing area, thankfully, but it'll eventually will die. But it has been a superstorm of epic proportions, really, for this time of the year, for early March to have something last that long in this environment. That's pretty crazy stuff. I mean, it really is. And we have one more storm that we're concerned about. It's north of Ottumwa. You folks in Ottumwa are not in the tornado warning, but north of you, you are, and it's heading up into areas to the north of that. So we're looking at Keokuk County primarily, the Hedrick area, Sigourney, also affected by this storm, and in that tornado warning down to the south. And let's see if I can zoom out again and get that loop going for you. So again, central Iowa is in the all clear basically. I can show you the bigger picture here. This is the big storm exactly. You can see the thunderstorms extend all the way down into Missouri, the snow up to the north, a powerful area of low pressure moving through. And we're going to go to winter mode. I mean, we're going to go from this to snow tomorrow night and then snow again next Thursday. So it's a crazy time of the year in March Madness right here in the weather department.
Yeah, this has been something else for sure. So to recap, it is 6:57. We've been on the air since about, I don't even know, it was 3 something. And we are about to head over to our variety special.
Yes.
On Local 5. That does not mean we are going away. We will be on CW Iowa 23. We will be on weareiowa.com, the We Are Iowa app, and our free, or on Facebook and YouTube as well. So we are, of course, nearing the end of tornado warnings in our immediate area. You can also text the word weather to 515-457-1026. I can also tell my crews upstairs the following counties are no longer under tornado warnings. You can take off Lucas, Monroe, Poweshiek, and Mahaska. The counties that are currently under a tornado warning are Wapello, Keokuk, and Tama. Those are the 3 in our area.
And the one they extended over into Benton County is now a red warning, which is a good sign.
Yes.
That's the first time since this thing started that it's actually not a magenta, which is a tornado confirmed. So they're seeing what we're seeing, that it's going to be harder and harder for this to maintain itself. It still means there's a tornado warning. It just means that it's maybe not as dire. But either way, it's moving out of the viewing area, and we'll continue to watch the one down to the south here in southeastern Iowa. And luckily, Brandon, that one has not been confirmed, but it's into the Hedrick area right now.
Right. We've been talking about Hedrick quite a bit, and want to stress to folks to seek shelter in this southern part of Keokuk County, south of Sigourney. We're looking at the Richland area. This is still where we're seeing that velocity right on top of Hedrick right now.
So yeah, that's the Hedrick area. So you folks should be in your safe place in the Hedrick area, because that is the most dangerous part of this storm right now. The other one, again, moving out of Tama County, and we're approaching 7 o'clock sharp here. And so if you're staying with Local 5, you're going to watch the Variety Spotlight, which is a great thing to watch and a good support, a cause to support. So do that. And we will also be on Channel 23 talking about the weather on KCWI on the C-Dub. So this is what we're doing now. We have John Diaz now in studio as we start talking about some of the damage and reports out there. We'll have to eventually spin a camera around.
So good news, Brad. The tornado warning
Not that one.
has expired for Tama County.
Okay.
So it has expired for Tama County, and it looks like that is now going to completely go into Benton County.
Okay, thanks everyone. We have switched our coverage now. We are on CW's Channel 23, and on ABC we are on, of course, showing the telethon right now. So if you want to see the telethon, that's where you go for our tele spotlight.
Yeah, we're also on weareiowa.com still right now, the We Are Iowa app. It is now about 7 o'clock. The only tornado warning in our area at this point, not the only one, but the only one in our immediate area, is this one in Wapello and Keokuk County. The one for Tama County has expired.
That is good. That is
Yes.
good. So yeah, we're going to monitor this one, and we'll bring in John Diaz as needed if he's got some information from anybody. I know there were
The field crews are headed out.
We're headed out now. We have 10,000, at least 10,000 customers without power now from Mid-American. I want to show you the storm reports again that I have saved here. And pretty amazing night out there. We've had large hail, Brandon, and that alone caused quite a bit of damage. It was in the Orient area, had the hail.
Yes.
I think it was Orient.
That was really the first initial report of damage that I can recall, was
Yes,
that pretty
it was.
A big hail damage.
It was up to, you know, maybe tennis ball size hail, but certainly larger than golf ball size hail. And that broke a lot of windows. And you can see that report there in portions of Adair County. And then the tornado track. And I'm going to put my line on this here. This is essentially one thunderstorm. So see how straight that is? That is the same supercell producing tornadoes off and on, and it really got going in Madison County and into Warren County and into Polk County, and then it moved itself into Jasper County and damage all along the way. Okay, are you on, Brandon?
Yeah, I was just listening to Simon.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I believe our Simon, tell me one more time, that's our producer. We're going to be headed out to Carson live, is that right? Okay, where is Carson? Okay, Carson, if you can hear me, Brandon, you're in Winterset. What can you tell me so far, my friend? It is, I know, quite a scene down there.
Yeah, Brandon, I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm with my photographer, Mike, in Winterset right now. Right now, we are headed south of town where we're hearing reports of pretty major damage to houses around the area. Haven't seen any trees down, but we're seeing a lot of visual damages to homes around the area. No info right now regarding injuries or the total value of those damages, but I have reached out to Madison County Emergency Management to hopefully have some more figures to share with you on that shortly. At this point, rain is pretty much pushed through. We're still getting some gusts of wind. At this point, traffic is pretty much clear, looking like people have pretty much hunkered down. It's incredibly dark and very quiet, so people are staying safe. I'll have more to share with you later on tonight.
Is the power out there? Do you notice a lot of lights that are out, Carson?
Street lights are out right now, it seems, but when we were in downtown earlier, it seemed like businesses and whatnot, those were all still fine. We're a little farther outside of town now, and now it's gotten a little iffier on light sources.
Yeah, we think the south side might have been hit harder than south and east side might have been the hardest hit.
Carson, appreciate you being down there. You as well stay safe. Those wind gusts, by the way, will continue through the night. Those are not associated with thunderstorms, just so that everybody hears. Those are just simply associated with the cold front and the colder air that'll be building in. So yes, it will be a gusty night, and that won't help our thoughts, and it won't help any of the power outages, of course. And many of the areas I imagine that are without power probably will be that way through tomorrow at least.
All right, thanks. We'll get back to the coverage here in the Hedrick area. The National Weather Service and us and everybody else agrees that there's still a possible tornado here. We haven't had a confirmation of that, but it really doesn't matter. The night that we've had tonight, we just have to keep everybody safe. So this is a place where you need to be in your safe spot, the Hedrick area and the southern portion of Keokuk County, Brandon.
Yeah, that's going to be moving right to the south of Hayesville. This will stay south of Sigourney, but it is now crossing that line into Keokuk County. And again, will stay, well, it probably will go right through Hayesville, or, you know, Hayesville, not a very large area, so it's going to be clipping that pretty closely. Still, like you said, there has been no confirmation of a tornado here, but this has been an area of rotation that will not die, that will not weaken.
Yeah.
And we have to keep our eyes peeled on that.
And the one that was south of this, I believe, or north of it, south of it, had a tornado confirmed. So we did have at least one confirmation in southern Iowa. So there's no reason to believe this couldn't do it.
Well, and a long time ago, we had the one in Sheraton that was confirmed, and we had damage southeast of Sheraton. So now we are really starting to get into a period of time and a geographic location that is not really sustainable for these storms. It is now dark outside. We don't have that energy that we typically see when we've got the heating of the day. And these storms are also entering an environment that is simply colder, that was not as warm yesterday, or warm during the day today rather, and will eventually be losing steam. Of course, they are not doing so just yet. It is still there kind of holding on.
Hey, Brandon, let's go over now to John Diaz. I think there's some happenings in Winterset, Madison County.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, just to kind of give you some background here, we did speak with Madison County Emergency Management earlier today. Significant damage there to homes and structures within that county. We do know that people were injured, but we don't have counts yet, and that's one of the things that we are working to try to assess. And that's actually where we just heard from Carson, and that's where he's headed right now. So that's really kind of the assessment that we are trying to make as we get down there. We know that they will have an update for us, an official update for us around 9 o'clock. That'll be happening in Winterset. Simon, I didn't get an exact location of where the Winterset Fire Station and Iowa State Patrol is telling us that. So that's usually a sign when they sort of tell us, hey, we need you to gather here. We tell the media that there may be some significant updates there. But we really, you know, the challenge here is when we're trying to assess the damage is first bringing it all together and understanding exactly where the damage is happening, where it's most significant. We appreciate certainly everyone who has been sending us videos and photos. We have been sharing those on the air. We always caution, and I know this is sort of wrapping up a little bit, but we always want to caution that we don't want to put, you don't want to put yourself in danger just to capture videos, even though they obviously end up being quite impressive in many cases because of, you know, just the video that you're able to capture. So that's what's happening in Winterset. We also have crews heading sort of south. Larissa Leon is passing through Carlisle right now, and she's trying to get us some information. She has seen some light rain, some lightning in that area, but she has seen folks driving around, and she just arrived at East Army Post Road near 45th, and she is reporting that she has seen power lines down. There are police there, and because people are trying to drive by that area. So she is there now. She is headed to Norwalk, where we have heard that there is damage there. You heard from Doug Richardson earlier today with the Norwalk Fire Department about that damage. So again, crews headed in several directions I believe we do have a crew headed to Pleasant Hill as well, where there was damage. There was the potential, there were some loose animals in that area. We're working to confirm that with officials there. Brad, Brandon, I don't know if you guys are seeing any activity in our area still.
You know, we're all quiet as far as the weather goes here, but boy, there's going to be a lot of reports coming in about homes being damaged. So far, we have not heard about any injuries. If everybody was in their basement, hopefully we got through the night without any injuries out there. But we are still, I can't see. Go ahead and hold that.
Trying to share some
Yeah.
notes, right?
Yeah, it's
Just
over
saying
in
the
Wapello.
tornado warning has been expired now for Wapello County.
Okay, yeah,
as well.
Wapello County. We're still watching that storm, though, in southeast Iowa, and that is in the southern portion of Keokuk County. So the Hedrick area and moving eastward. But, yeah, we just hope that we got through the night without any injuries or serious injuries out there. And that would be almost a miracle at this point because so many communities were impacted tonight. It hasn't been just one or two. It's been maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a
at least.
lot of towns,
And all the
cities.
the houses in between, the farmsteads. So
Right.
It's going to be a long weekend for a lot of folks, and we'll keep you updated as much as we can. But things are winding down as far as severe weather. We have one tornado warning, Brandon, and this one is south of Hayesville right now.
Yeah, and this storm looks to me like maybe it has lost a little bit of.
I'll get the velocity scope out.
Yeah, it looks a little bit weaker.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, coming out of Hedrick now. Like I said, we're kind of going into a time frame where these storms just are going to have a hard time sustaining themselves. They're losing steam because it's nighttime now, and really most of the storms are clearing our area. The tornado warning to the north, by the way, is totally in Benton County. It's over in Tama County. This one is now over in Wapello County, and it's moving just through that southeast corner, that really southern and southeast part of Keokuk County. And like Brad said, we have not had any reports right now, at least no confirmed reports of injuries or fatalities. But as John mentioned, we're going to have an update from the Madison County emergency managers, I believe at 9 o'clock tonight. And usually, like he said, when they gather media together, there's probably some sort of big update that it will give us some good information as to what's going on in Winterset.
Okay. Well, things are winding down here, guys. I'm going to stay with it a little while longer. That warning in the Keokuk County goes till 7:30.
Okay.
I guess we could ride that one out if you want for another 19 minutes.
Yeah. Why not?
Because more
No, it is
information,
important, yeah.
and the thing is, more information may come in while we're on the air that people want to hear about. So
Right.
We apologize for the programming that you might be missing on CW Channel 23. But the severe weather threat does continue, and it's still a tornado warning until 7:30 for Keokuk County, still in our viewing area right now. And we've had numerous reports of damage tonight. Again, that path of destruction stretching all the way across the state tonight, and you can see it right there. That is one storm, and then down to the south is a couple of other storms. But those are the two hot spots, one supercell and then those ones in southern Iowa. Both or all causing damage tonight across the area. So it's been a rough night, that's for sure. And we're looking for some better weather to be moving in. It is going to get colder, though, that's for sure, the next couple of days. And can't have thunderstorms when it's too cold. So that's
Yeah,
good.
you know, and not that it is super relevant at the moment, but there will be some snow late tomorrow night into Monday morning, and then again next week. And a lot of people have been messaging me, asking me, well, how much snow? You know, to tell you the truth, I haven't looked at it much yet.
Yeah.
There's hasn't been a lot of time for it.
I forecasted when I came in, so it does look like we will see maybe an inch tomorrow night, and then maybe several, maybe up to 5 inches on Thursday. So pretty active weather out there. John, did you have something you wanted to say to us?
Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about our news gathering process because there is a lot of information, obviously, that circulates on social media and various other channels that we are aware of and we monitor as well. But we don't necessarily report from that, and I think it's just important to acknowledge that a little bit because you may be hearing of some perhaps more serious news than what we are talking about right now, and that is because when it comes to especially very serious things, we wait for official confirmation. But that's why we have crews going out there, and that's why, in particular, Brandon, you just talked about this, the 9 o'clock press conference that we are planning to be at. We may take that live during our 9 o'clock newscast on the CW. Will be important for really sort of helping us understand the extent of what we've seen and what we're still seeing across Iowa right now.
Are we getting indications, without going too far, are we getting indications that things are bad in Winterset?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gathering information. We're going to confirm that before we pass it along to you, but it doesn't surprise us, Brandon.
Yeah. Again, there have been so many towns affected tonight, and I would like to echo kind of what John was saying, but also please know that if we don't make it to your town tonight, it does not mean that we don't care. It doesn't mean that we don't know about it. We are a small but very mighty team, and we will get to as many places as we possibly can. We are going to probably be covering severe weather for several days. There will be tornado surveys conducted by the National Weather Service. I imagine they will begin those tomorrow, and then they will probably continue those through, I would imagine, several days early in the week. They, too, will be predicting snow and dealing with that, so there's going to be a lot of issues the next several days.
So our final warning is right here, and we're going to maybe stick with it, or it's getting weaker, Brandon, by the minute, so that's good news out there. So. Yeah, I don't know if we want to close our coverage down and keep the crawl going, and we got a lot of information to gather out there. Our news team does, so that might be the best foot forward.
I think so. I think that we can probably wrap up. This is headed into an area that, again, is not so favorable, but also a large portion of this area refers to Cedar Rapids TV stations for information, and that's simply because our signal, our coverage doesn't quite reach out that far. So please don't take that as we're not paying attention. It's just at this point that storm has weakened a lot.
And I guess in closing, I just want to thank everybody for all of the information you brought us, or pictures, and thank you for watching us. And we'll continue to give you the best information that we can here at Local 5. And again, we will be back on the CW. We have our newscast at 9 o'clock, and we'll have our other newscast at 10 o'clock on Local 5. And we'll continue to bring you all the information from tonight and forward, the most accurate forecast. Stay with Local 5 and CW for all of that. Thank you for watching.